Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome. Thank you for coming out. All right, we're going to start our special board meeting today at our in-person at Village Hall. Today is Monday, April 18th, 2022, and the time now is 6:32. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Sure. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Trustee Brown? Present. Trustee House? He's en route, so he's probably going to be late. Trustee Norwood?
Present.
Trustee Steve?
Present.
Trustee Home?
Here.
And Trustee Belcher will be absent today. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. If you all will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brother Fleshman, if you would, lead us in prayer, please.
Let us pray. Gracious and eternal Father, we ask now for your presence in the midst of this meeting. Lord God, we pray that you will loose understanding and civility. God, we come against any manners of division that may even be among us and any weapons that are trying to form, because we know that your word says, no weapon formed against us shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against us thou shalt condemn. So God, just loose your spirit among us now. God, let us move forward for the greater good of the village of Dalton. God, do exactly what it is that you're desiring to do. We pray now, God, for unity in this village. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Next, we have general announcements. I'm going to start with several announcements so that residents understand what's going on. At the town hall address that was last week, I announced that there will be a seating requirement, meaning a number. So we're going to start that at the next board meeting, but I wanted to announce it at a regular scheduled meeting that you guys can watch via live stream on YouTube, and we're still going to stream it so that everybody that can't fit in the room or cannot get in the room, you can still view what's going on here in the village of Dalton. But we will enforce that at the next board meeting. I just want to announce that here today because I announced it at the town hall address and a lot of people wasn't there. So I wanted you guys to understand what is the steps moving forward for the next scheduled board meeting. Next, we will have citizens address. Everyone will have 3 minutes, and please, whatever you do, be respectful. Please don't call anyone out of their name or anything like that, but you do have 3 minutes, and it is public comment. It is not Q&A, it is public comment. So what that means is you have the opportunity to address the board and let us know your concern as relates to anything you want to talk about, which it should relate to agenda items, but sometimes residents have issues with down wires, trees, things of that nature. You can address that as well. But please, for the record, say however you feel or whatever is on your mind as relates to the agenda items. Those are my announcements. Okay, and the attorney said, please state your name at the beginning of citizens address clearly for the record. All right, and Trustee House is here. Got time? 6:36. All right, any trustees have any comments? Any general announcements, trustees?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Steve.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody back in our updated, remodeled Village Hall. It looks really nice. I want to announce that people know I suffer from multiple sclerosis, and I'm having an MS walk in Dalton, May 14th, at the Dalton Park District from 9:30 to about 12. Registration starts at 9:30, walk ends at around 10 o'clock. That will be, again, May 14th. This is Saturday, which is the second Saturday of the month. We all know we do Tea with the Trustees, second Saturday of the month. So this second Saturday, my Tea with the Trustees edition will be T would be the MS walk, multiple sclerosis walk. And it's the first one holding the south suburbs, usually downtown or Roland Park. So it's the first time it's been in a primarily in the black area, black and Mexican area. So again, I want to invite everybody out to that. Also, I really want to say, you know, it was a town hall meeting here, and there was a lot of things addressed to the trustees as if we're haters, or as if we're childish, or if we're just not doing the business of the village. Majority of the good things that this new administration has done, we voted for all of it. It couldn't have been done without the board of trustees. The money that's spent has to run through the board of trustees. The new equipment that's bought in public works was voted on by the board of trustees. So when you hear all this new stuff that you've seen, that's because the board agreed to vote on that good stuff to help this village. And it's unfortunate that we get left out of that. And like we're haters, or we mess with employees, and we don't care about people's jobs. I was an employee, and I've been there before. As far as people picking with your jobs, I wouldn't do that. So I'm saying to say that this board of trustees have been putting the village first to vote on key things. This last budget, this administration got more money, 10 police officers, new fire truck, new public works front loader, sewage truck. The stuff that we voted on has never been voted on in the last 8 to 10 years. That's what this board has done. So I want to give this board credit, because we did not get no credit at this last board meeting. We were really stepped to the side like we just haters and we just want to cause disruption. That's not the reality. So that's all I want to say from my announcements. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other board member?
Yeah, may I be recognized?
Yes, go ahead, Trustee.
Yes. Good evening, residents. Just want to announce, I've been talking with the chief, and one day before this month is out, we're going to have a location possibly outside the police station. I do have, on a safety issue, some gun locks that been donated. This will be the second time they'll be distributed in Dalton. Some residents didn't get them the first time, but we will announce a date. It will be before this month is out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I be recognized?
Go ahead, Trustee.
Thank you very much. My comment is kind of, I guess, geared more towards some of the comments that were made at the town hall meeting, in particular some of the statements about why the board has taken, or I'll even say for myself, why I may have taken some of the positions that I have in terms of what has been done wrong. Most recently, and I'll just go back to the last 3 months, manual checks are checks that are just written for spontaneous things or things that are emergencies that were unplanned for. In the month of February, there are $125,000 worth of manual checks written. Those should be presented to the board, approved, and issued out. In February, that did not occur. In March, the board did not receive a warrant list. That warrant list was $2.1 million worth of spending. In order to spend money, and so in order for the board to approve it, we should have got that, reviewed it, been able to make the proper approvals, or not, and that information was not presented for the board to even make that decision. More than that, the process for checks, because this is all set up on checks and balances. In writing the checks, the $125,000 worth of checks, as well as $2 million worth of checks, there should be 2 signatures on every check. The authorized signers on our bank account are the mayor and the clerk. For the month of February and March, the clerk's stamp was used without her authorization to sign $2 million worth of bills that were not properly presented to the board. In the month of April, again, the warrant list or the information was not presented to the board. That's $1.8 million worth of spending. Now, I would take from what I've seen that at least using the clerk's stamp without her authority was recognized or changed, because this time the checks were signed only with the mayor's signature on it, without the 2 signatures required for the necessary checks and balances. In total, that's $4 million in the last 3 months spent without the appropriate checks and balances. So that's one, what I would say, glaring, well, the spending of the money and the use of somebody's signature without their authorization. Right, there are 2 main issues that I had a big concern with that were not spoken about, or it says, why are things happening the way they are? I think many people have seen the meeting, so they've seen a lot of the back and forths, and I just want to go over high level because I want to make sure we're talking about big ticket issues, and to me that's significant. So that was one of many things that was stated. That's the one that I would highlight, and I will not go into the minutia of just, I would say, other personal grievances, but that's my comments for the record. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, anyone else? All right, sure.
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to state, well, one, we are having a housing committee meeting this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. So our residents, feel free to join us. And just in regards to a few things that were stated at the town hall meeting, I'd like to just state that I've been here quite some time as a resident, 20 years, and I've been to pretty much every board meeting for the last 8 years. And in regards to the mayor, I've always looked up to her. In regards to her, how as trustee she stayed at every meeting, hey, my goal is to speak up for the residents. Let's speak up for the residents. Residents, I am here for you. So I always admired how she'd say that. And I was thinking, hey, you know, as trustee, when I was elected, I couldn't wait to speak up for the residents and to do the job that I told them that I'll do when I walked up to their door. And I'm just a bit disappointed at how now that I'm in the exact same seat as the mayor, and as I stated to her before when we met a few weeks ago, we have a lot in common. We're both single moms. We both graduated from Thornridge High School. And I thought that she would just be a little bit more supportive in regards to allowing me to do my job. As I stated to her, as trustee, I have certain roles that I'm just supposed to do, like oversee finances. We're entitled to a warrant list. Any dime spent by the taxpayers, we should be privy of it. We're responsible for the finances. Implement ordinances. If a resident called me and say, hey, we're concerned about some of the village's hiring practices, which could you all do? It's my job as trustee to implement an ordinance so that the hire and fire process, we can have a part of that. So that should come in front of the board. When a resident asks, hey, I want to speak in regards to Facebook, or I'm being blocked, or can you address this issue for me? I should be able to do so. So when I send an email and I request certain agenda items saying, hey, can I add this to the agenda? And it's not added to the agenda. These are just some of the concerns in which bothers me. So as trustee, I know everyone continues to ask, hey, can you all work as a team? And of course, that is the goal. I've met with the mayor several times. My whole goal is to just work for the people. And I'm just hoping that she learns to compromise. I say all the time, this is not a dictatorship, this is a democracy. The system was designed with 8 elected officials in mind, all 6 trustees, a clerk, and a mayor. So with it being designed with all of us in mind, there is a checks and balances, and there's a process. So that's why we're here, mainly because we have to follow a process and procedures and protocols. So again, residents, as I stated, I will speak up for you all, and this is me doing so. If I see something wrong, I have to address it. So that's my stand on it. Thank you all. And that's it, we there.
All right, anyone else? All right, moving on. Next, we have corporate bills. Let's start with we're gonna do board meeting for February 7th, 2022, board meeting for March 7th, 2022, board meeting for April 4th, 2022. Is there a motion to pay the corporate bills?
I want to ask the attorney of the proper way. I want to just have a point of discussion, but I'm not motioning to pay him at this time. What would be the proper motion to discuss this?
And pay the bill.
Well, routinely under Robert's Rules of Order, before a matter can be substantively discussed, there would be a motion and a second, after which time then the matter would be available for discussion by the trustees and the mayor. Having a motion on any particular item does not mean that that particular trustee has agreement with or consent to or is voting in favor of it when the ultimate substantive vote may occur. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, it does, Attorney. Thank you. Well, I will motion for discussion purposes that we discuss corporate bills.
Second.
Well, it would be just a motion to approve the corporate bill.
Okay, motion to approve the corporate bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and second to approve all three sets, trustee?
Okay, yeah, so I guess my question is more for confirmation, because these were the bills that I referenced in my statement.
All three, okay. It's been motioned and second. Any discussion?
Yeah, these were the bills I was referencing, not just one. As a point of confirmation, are all the bills on the warrant list that was provided to us Friday, have those already all been paid?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know, I have no further comment. I just think those should not have been paid without a proper approval. So I'll ask the other trustees if they have comment, and then I'll.
I got, hold on. Further the mayor, thank you. Do any other trustee have any discussion regarding this item?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, trustee.
I think Trustee House laid it out very clear. We're voting for stuff that's already been paid. Almost approximately $4 million been paid without board approval. That's just unacceptable. So why is this even on here if it's already been paid? So if we vote for it, then they say, well, y'all paid it. No. There has to be some accountability for doing things wrong. $4 million of bills being paid without board approval is not acceptable. So I guess we motion to table it or whatever, but two of these already been paid without us. So give this to us after the fact. It's not correct. So I don't know what the board wants to do, attorney, what you want to do, but this stuff, two of these have already been paid. $4 million already been paid without us.
Okay. So you're stating that 2 was paid without you and 1 was not paid without you? Is that what your statement is?
Is that correct, Trustee House?
The March 7th board bills have been paid. The April 4th bills have been paid without board approval. February 7th was approved without the approval of the manual checks that was not subsequently approved.
So are you saying that February 7th, you guys approved that at your illegal meeting, correct?
I'm not certain what meeting you're referring to as illegal, but however, February 7th was a meeting that all board members were present. The bills were voted on, and the vote was to approve the corporate bills, minus with the removal of all manual checks.
Okay. So for the record, anybody got anything else? Anyone? Okay, for the record, residents, so you can understand where we are and what we're speaking. And bear with me, my voice in and out, I'm trying to get it together. What we're speaking of is the Board of Trustees decided to have a separate board meeting from the one that's scheduled regularly here in the Village of Dalton. We normally meet the first and third Monday of every month. Because of the discord amongst the board decided to have their own board meeting, which we never ever do. The mayor presides over every board meeting. They had their own Zoom link. They sent it out to you guys and basically did not come to do their duties as trustees, which is to pay the bills. I still was present for every single board meeting, and I, as your leader, decided to make sure that all bills got paid. That includes our police officers, our firemen, our public works, all public safety items got paid at the meeting. I don't understand why any trustee would feel that it's okay not to show up, to be present, to take care of their duties, what they got elected to do. I hear trustee Norris say that, but no one showed up to make sure that you guys was safe. I made sure that the bills got paid. I did not use anyone's stamp. They're saying I used someone's stamp. I don't have to. I didn't need to. bills got paid with Tiffany Henyard's name on the paychecks that go out to our police officers. It goes out to our public work, our employees that work here in the village of Dalton. That's what happened. So people can say whatever they want up here. They can point the finger, they can say what I shouldn't do or wouldn't do, but the problem is they have to take responsibility for their action, which is show up to a board meeting and take care of the business at hand. We get paid to take care of board meetings every 2 weeks, which is to pay corporate bills, which includes the employees' payroll. I have not spent $4 million. They throw numbers out, they pull numbers out of the air, wherever they get their numbers from, at least be factual about it. But I did make sure that the staff got paid here because I didn't want anyone to call the Village of Dalton and say, hey, I just had a break-in. And then we have a police officer on call to go to that property, but guess what? Y'all ain't paid them for 2 months that y'all missed here at the board meeting. So what do? I take responsibility because who gonna get the hit? The mayor. It would be the mayor's fault. It would not be the board's fault when something go wrong and we do not pay our public servants, which is our police department. And I stress that because we have to make hard choices. Sometimes people don't understand what it is you're doing or why you're doing it. And I'm explaining to you why I did what I did, which is pay the bills. You have to keep lights on. You have to keep people fed. People come here and do a job, and we have to pay them. If we do not pay them, guess what? Now you guys suffer, the residents. Now you don't have public service. So that is the reason for why the bills still got paid, despite the trustees showing up to a board meeting, which you guys elected them to do. I never not did my job, not showing up to an actual board meeting. I always come equipped and prepared to do the will of the people, and that is to go over corporate bills. So that is the reason. If the board of trustees chooses not to pay the bills or approve them right now, then that's their prerogative. But right now, the bills are paid. We are on time. Lights and water will continue. With the city of Chicago, we haven't missed a beat, which we signed agreements to make sure that these things are timely and in order, despite what people may feel up here. They're just like you, the head of your household. No matter what, you're gonna make sure that light, gas, and water is on, no matter what. And that's what you guys elected me to do, to oversee the village and make sure that we're not in a home. Any other comments, trustee?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We're not pulling these numbers out of nowhere. That's the warrant list. It's the numbers, it's the monthly bills. And we have a quorum. It's the board of trustees meeting. We had a quorum. You could have sent the bills to a warrant list for a consent agenda or something. You paid them anyway. We never seen them. We never seen them. So that's just unacceptable. All we asking this administration to do is this former trustee used to sit down here and bend over and say, work with your board, mayor. Talk to your board, mayor. That's not what we're experiencing right now. So you have to be accountable for spending $4 million. Yes, we're not pulling these numbers, approximately $4 million. We're not pulling these, that's the monthly bills that we, $125,000 in manual checks, which they used to make a big stink out of manual checks getting paid without board approval. This stuff that been going on that she complained about. So all we're asking to do, be the mayor that you complained about. That's all we asked you to do. So we didn't show up to meet because you start muting our mics. It's just the level of control and a lot of dictatorship that we're witnessing and participating is wrong. So we had our own Zoom link and we conducted the meeting because she wasn't putting our stuff on the agenda. She put stuff through they wouldn't put on the agenda. That's wrong. It was wrong when she was a trustee. If she put something through and the administration don't put it on the agenda, she muted our mics and didn't put our stuff on the agenda. So we said, I do media. We do our own Zoom link. She could have got on the meeting and presided over the whole meeting. She did it one time. She got on meeting, presided over the mayor over the meeting. 2 times we didn't, she didn't want to get on. So we conducted the handle the business of the village. We put our agenda together, the stuff that she wouldn't put on the agenda. So that's what happened. And the stuff was paid without board approval. That's unacceptable. No matter how way you spin it, look at it, left, right, up, down, you cannot pay bills without board approval, not even let us see it, not even send it to us. And then we had to pass an ordinance to even have the village finance person give us the bills. Because they were telling them, don't give them the bills. No, don't give them that. Don't give them that. We're over the money, and this administration is stopping us from seeing the bills. That's the reality of what we're dealing with. So, we can all, we're not making this stuff up. And that's what this administration always does. We are making stuff up. No, we're not making this stuff up. We're not just pulling us out of the air. This is facts, actual facts. And we want to work with this administration. If we didn't want to work with this administration, we wouldn't have passed all the spending that we did when we first got in here. All the compromising that we did this first 6-7 months of this administration. We compromised so much, and we get spitted on, talked bad to. Everybody watches these Zoom meetings. You get talked to you like you a child, like we work for her or something like that, and y'all seen that. Some of y'all watching me and get mad because like, damn, she's gonna talk to y'all like y'all children. We suffered that, and we took it with dignity and professionalism, and we still here. We want to move forward this village forward. Even this flooring, all this stuff, this money that we spend, we don't know how much they spent on this. We don't. It looks nice, we don't know how. I think they spent almost $30,000. We don't know how. It looks nice. I like the fact that it looks, but we just want transparency. There's nothing wrong with transparency. And that's what she demanded as a trustee, and we're demanding that of her. And that's not happening.
All right.
May I speak?
Yes. Go ahead.
Just in regards to the bills, I think that was my main concern. That's my main concern in regards to voting to approve the bills. I understand that I'm new, but I don't think that I'll be doing justice for the residents if I went and approved something that I haven't seen. It just wouldn't make sense. And I just wouldn't be doing a great job as trustee if I did that. So in that event, with the other trustees, I won't be able to approve this.
I just have one thing to add to that. I did come to the Village Hall seeking a warrant list. I was told to ask the person over finance, ask the village administrator, ask the mayor. I had a meeting with the mayor, and I was told that I would get that warrant list. And as of today, I just got the warrant list Saturday. So again, games aren't being played. You come here, I sat down, had a meeting, willing to work. Let's get this village back on track. Again, games are being played with the trustees. As I say, you ask this person, you ask that person, you ask the next person. So it's like I'm going around in circles. Nobody can give me an answer as to where I can get the warrant list. Saturday, finally, Saturday evening, the warrant list came out. Who's looking for a Saturday evening? Nobody. You're not even home Saturday evening. So you sent a 95-page warrant list for me to review over the Easter holiday weekend when you're spending with your family. Again, you can't approve things that you don't know what you're spending. Me, I can speak for myself. It's going to take me time. Before I approve anything, I need to review it. That's just how I work. Checks and balance. Now, if anybody else wants to take it and say, hey, let's roll with it, I don't roll like that. I need to review what I'm paying for. Hey, and if everything's cool, go ahead and pay for it. But I will not pay for anything that I have not reviewed. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, trustee.
Okay, this item has been actually one of the items that was listed in the lawsuits that the trustees approved within the previous 2 weeks. Being that there's obvious disagreement on this, I want a motion that we table these agenda items pending the results of the litigation.
Okay.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Now let me get my point out. One, a couple things that you guys said that's untrue, that's false, and I want to put it on for the record. Number one, you guys approved the floors here at Village Hall at a board meeting. Number two, if you guys would show up to the board meetings like you're supposed to do, you will have your complete package, which you get every single board meeting. But when you guys want to go and host your own meeting, you guys can put your own package together. And the reason why I'm stating this, residents, they have the same access that I have, which is my viewpoint. That means every vendor, every bill, anything we pay out, or anybody that turns in the invoices on my viewpoint. Because when I became mayor, I wanted everything to be transparent, and I wanted them to have access to what I have access to. So I had them come in, do a training, and learn how to utilize my viewpoint. So now they will have the invoices and the things they're claiming they do not have, and they have at their fingertips. All they have to do is read or come in and learn how to utilize it, and that way they will know how to navigate through the system. I think that's what the issue is on us not understanding that you have what I have. And if you want the report, all you have to do is press print. That's it. You have the same report that we get every single board meeting. Next, you guys in the juror board meeting for February 7th, because you just stated you approved one set of the bills, but you didn't approve the other two set of the bills. You guys could approve the other two set of the bills because you had access to it. And I want the residents to know that they have what I have. And I keep repeating that because I'm tired of everybody saying they didn't get this or we didn't print that. I don't have to print anything for anyone because you can look at it. That's why everything's digital. And you can actually print it yourself or view it yourself because it's at your fingertips on your phone or your iPad. I just want people to understand where we're going, where we come from, and why we going back and forth. People are putting in lawsuits, which is wasting taxpayer dollars for things that they know is going on here at the Village of Dalton. As relates to paying bills, it is legal. I can pay bills. I don't know why they think I cannot pay bills. When you become the CEO, you are the signer on the bank account here in the Village of Dalton. And as I stated before, bills will get paid regardless of the discord amongst us. We have to still live in our day-to-day operation. It has to still stand regardless of the infighting. And that's what we have done. So, with that being said, there's a motion and second on the floor. Can you call the word, Clerk?
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
You know, I was listening to a statement about what was on the agenda, and I'm gonna piggyback from this last administration, and I do have to say for the record that so many agenda items, as you were with a trustee, was not put on the agenda. I want to state that for the record. Second, we as African American people have to work together. There's an office in this building that belongs to the village and the residents. There's a table downstairs. We have to get around that table and get on the same page. We cannot look at black dirt and not grow no grass. And the only way we're going to do that is have faith, prayer, get around this table, come together, go dot by dot, line by line, look at these items, discuss this among ourselves in-house, and come out and bring it to the residents. You know, this village is one that I have seen workers working here under stress. Whether you're going to be fired the next day or the next week, no one person should control nobody's job in this village. And I think that this last administration.
Yeah.
That's why I sat and I watched certain individuals working in a certain department terminated for nothing because you want to control what they do. And if they're not doing their job, and certain individuals that was in the water department, even two of them had to leave the state of Illinois because an investigation is going on because they did not want to do anything illegal. Certain people that was working in this office here, certain people standing over them every day and they can't do their job. That's harassment. That is harassment. People need to come to work knowing that when people walk in here and somebody walks in their office and then somebody walks out and then there's somebody come in questioning them, what did he want? What did he say? That's not operating this village. That's not sending citizens here to wonder if they come in, well, what did that resident really want? What that resident really want is pride in who they talking to. The workers here, whether they in the public work, whether they're here in the village, need to be working with no harassment. Nobody controls nobody. Your vote is your vote. But to understand how to grow this village, there's no other than any other village and any other citizen and any other people. Stop pointing fingers. If we keep pointing fingers, you ain't going nowhere because that finger pointing you back in the mirror. We have to, you taxpayers, they pay us. They don't pay to see, and I'm not talking about anybody, they don't pay to see the bickering and the fighting.
Not at all.
This is why we can't move forward. Not working together. I mean, they can hate me, but I'm gonna still love you. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. But we gotta get around the table and work. That's it. We gotta get around the table and compromise. There's no big eyes and no little U's. And I was, and you know, yeah, sir, I ran no rider's ticket. But mama ain't raised no fool. When I see something wrong and something illegal, I'm not gonna stand for it. I love everybody that was on administration and the trustees when I ran. But when wrong is wrong, wrong is wrong. I'm not standing there. I would turn the cheek and do something else. And when I see this mayor, if it's something wrong, I'll sit back and talk with her about it. But you're not gonna control me. Tell me who to talk to. Tell me who not to take pictures with. I'm a grown man. You're not gonna control me. The people voted for me. So it's not for you to tell me who to talk to, who not to talk to. I'm gonna talk to everybody. So you pull me away from you. But in the long run, I got a list of everything. I done seen the wrongdoing. I got credit card numbers from the past. So don't play. I'm not gonna impede the investigation that's coming, but I'm not gonna be part of that investigation. But I'm gonna stand for what's right, and I'm gonna stand for the people. Now, if you see fit, and that's anybody, when anything has been wrong with this administration, then put it out there, put it on paper, let the investigation roll. But so far, I don't see anything. The only thing I see is us as people not working together with each other.
Amen.
If we work together, because when you close one door, 3 or 4 open.
Amen.
So let's stop finger pointing. Love you all, but we need to get together, get round this table, and get this ball rolling. If it's a dream, let's keep it going with a dream. I'm done.
All right. Mayor, can you recognize? I just have one thing to say.
That's how I feel.
Again, to
Wrong.
piggyback off Trustee Holmes' comment, things are still wrong. They ain't fixed yet. Come in here. Talk to a couple of people. You can't talk to them. They can't talk back to you. Retaliation is still here. Fearful of talking to a trustee is still here. I got people that can't talk to me right now for fear of their jobs. Yes, I know what's going on, and they do too. So let's stop hiding. Let's stop throwing a brick and hat behind the wall. Let's keep it real. It's still going on today, right now. I come in here, you can't say anything to me. I feel it. I know it. I worked in HR for over 30 years. An HR specialist, supervisor. I know it when I come in here. They can't talk to me for fear of their job. So let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Ask the people. Start an investigation. You'll find out the same crap is still going on today. So if you want to get this together, you're right. Let's sit all around the table. Get your people to talk. Have them sign a statement. They will not be retaliated against, and you'll find out the truth. The same crap is still going on today. So people, don't be fooled. It's right here today. Thank you.
I think we didn't be there was enough. I would like to say that's untrue, and I would say that they're fearful of the trustees coming and getting in the day-to-day operations. So that's something else. So if you're gonna write stuff to the reporters, anybody, please do your homework, get the facts, get both sides of the story, and don't write things where it's just one-sided. Because it's a lot of untrue articles out there because you guys just got one side of the story. Can you call the roll as it relates to the table?
Okay, we're tabling this item pending litigation, is that correct?
That was your motion, right, trustee?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay,
It was second by trustee.
got it. Trustee Brown? Aye. Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Hi, let's table and talk.
Motion passed.
All right, next on the agenda, the approval of the CDBG sub-recipient agreement. Where is he? Oh, there you go, Ron Smith, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, department heads, and residents from the village of Dalton. I'm Ron Smith with Robinson Engineering. Right now, in your board packet, what you have is a subrecipient agreement from Cook County, and that's with regards to a water main relocation. The village is receiving $300,000 to relocate a water main that is impeding the $43 million CREATE project, where there is going to be a realignment of the existing railroad tracks behind Old Village Hall by Indiana Avenue on 138th and also by Park Avenue. As part of this project, it will increase the railroad speed. It will also enhance safety, and it'll be more pedestrian friendly at that crossing. The project for the railroad track realignment is slated for September of 2022. So this water main is kind of the Achilles heel that's preventing that project to move forward. So with the trustees' blessing to approve the subrecipient agreement, these documents can be submitted back to the county, and then we can go out to bid for this project. Again, this is $300,000 worth of funding that the village is receiving from the county to relocate an existing 16-inch water main that's impeding the CREATE project. And I will entertain any questions that the board may have at this time.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions for Ron? Hearing none, can you call the roll? Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of block by block program. Basically, I'm gonna give you guys a whole overview of why this is on the agenda. Now, everybody that know me know that as a trustee, I initiated block by block. When I started it, I advocated from the residents to see their opinion, and you guys actually helped me write the outline for block by block. So that entails houses for $1 and houses for $5,000. The dollar houses was for the investors, and I get this question all the time. Why is the investor houses $1 and why is the $5,000 for the residents? So let me explain. The dollar houses are the homes that's messed up. Have a family of raccoons living in it, holes in the roof, carpet missing out of it, where you have to dump literally $50,000 to $100,000 into that property. That's why it's geared towards investors. And as it relates to $5,000, the $5,000 one is for residents. People that I feel work day to day, people that I know once you get income tax money, you can afford to fix up the property. And it's cosmetic, meaning flooring, paint, things of that nature that I know you can fix up. I've tried to put this on the agenda several times for board approval, and I would like the board to support me in creating block by block and starting somewhere. Because right now, we still have a list of vacant properties throughout the village of Dalton, and nothing has transpired as it relates to putting them back on the tax roll. So, Board of Trustees, I'm asking for your support once again to initiate this program, and let's start somewhere. Can I have a motion to approve block by block?
A motion.
Is there a second?
I would like to discuss it, so I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Go ahead, discussion.
May I be recognized, Mayor?
Yes.
I'm supporting this because I believe that residents who want to own
Amen.
property and start need to have this opportunity to do it. It costs so much for them, you know, when they're going out to get property. These may be first homeowners, and I'm on board with them. If they're starting out and want to own their own property, they may have a family, they may have someone in their family that can do the construction work there that can save them. So any opportunity that we have here should be first to the residents.
Yes. Anybody else?
I have my comment there, if I can be right.
Sure. Go ahead.
Some time ago, I think block by block, as the mayor mentioned, in the outline form, is a great concept. I thought it was when it first came up, and I believe it still is today. My challenges and why I have not voted on it before remain the same today as they did before, and I would like to see this program come to its fruition. In my mind, if it's not on paper, it doesn't exist, and there's a lot of details about this program that we discuss that are not on paper. And I'm saying that I have in front of me the ordinance, and the ordinance is 7 pages that essentially says Dalton is a home rule community, and as a home rule community, we think that it's best to have a housing program. That is very true, and I agree with that first 7. The last page is the 1-page outline that we're discussing. If I were to look at it, some of the questions that came up is there a budget for this? Because it's gonna cost us money to acquire houses, to get insurance for the houses, to sell the houses, and all of those things. But in this documentation so far, there's not a budget for it. Who's gonna oversee this program from start to finish? A lot of the employees are already at their capacity for a workload. And so somebody has to come in. Are we gonna add that to somebody else's responsibilities? Or are we gonna hire somebody else? And if we're gonna hire somebody else, that too would come into the budget. For the lottery program, how do we make sure that we have a fair system? What does that lottery program look like? So that way when the residents come in, we know they're pulling out of a hat. They're gonna do that. All of those things can be discussed. How do we make sure that we get that residents do not manipulate, not saying residents, individuals who receive the houses do not manipulate the system to make sure that they get it and then buy and flip it when it's intended for homeowners. All of those safeguards should be in place, and I know that through discussion it's been discussed, but as of today, we got 1 page that says it. So I'm just coming to, if we really are trying to stress, I think block by block is a great concept. It's a wonderful one that should be moved forward. But my ask in order to support it is that we get some of those details flushed out and listed on paper. So that's my comments about this. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so just to answer some of your questions. I've had this on here literally almost every single board meeting. I've asked the Board of Trustees to change it, fix it, add what you want, create, just develop the program. So Trustee, you had the opportunity to basically implement anything that you chose, and to this day, no one has came up with any ideas or anything that they wanted to see with this program. This right now is a template. We have to start somewhere. You are not going to create the wheel without knowing where you're going. And right now, we did not vote on anything to say we can do this process. So why would I go waste a ton of money putting together a whole different agenda when the board is not even supporting me on step 1? But yet this board voted for the land bank and they didn't even have a piece of paper, let alone a contract that you voted for. You just voted for the land bank to come in. So what I'm asking now, today, again, is for this board to support me in basically starting the process of getting the properties on the tax roll. Yes, we have to give structure to the foundation, but right now, I want the residents to know that you do support this program. So I'm asking again, Board of Trustees, can you support me in this initiative?
May I be recognized?
Yes.
I think, like you said, you've been hitting this for a long time. And I think you've been a mayor now for, I think, 8-9 months, almost a year. You got the backing of the village finances and the attorneys. So you put on us to put more foot and put more feet to your program. Get more feet on your program and give it back to us. Also, all we're asking you to do, we've shown them what's the initial cost, what's the lawyer fees, what's the insurance fees, what's the upkeep fees. These are things that's not in this stuff that's given to us. Then it's given. This is the same thing that was said years ago. Tell the trustees, put something to it. No, you present it to us. Land bank has been proven that they're in different communities doing it, and they have a whole structure to do it. So all I'm saying is that if you want us to put, I say kick it, let's push it to the housing committee, and let's put feet on it. Since this administration is not going to put no feet to it, let us put the feet to it. Since we've been waiting on you to do it, and it's not going to be done, you keep putting it on us, even though this is your program that you've been harping for the last how many years. This is the most you got, farthest you got in the last 5 years you've been pushing this. And this is that's the best you can do is just that one piece of paper, and it keeps putting on us, blame us, that's awful. That take it to committee, because obviously you're not going to do it. We'll put the feet to it.
Keep the land bank out. It's a team thing.
Okay,
And
so
if they miss it one more time, I'm just
it's
gonna
so
go
funny,
in
it's like
there.
double talking. First you said, Nick, I need to just do it, then you say, kick it to the trustees and you do it. I done gave you guys several opportunities to add your input. When I add the trustees, as you can see, residents, and include them, he wants me to just write the book. But when I write the book, then you say the mayor is the dictator. The mayor won't let us get our opinion. So it's like, which one you want? Can I have your cake, eat it too? So, with that being said, I'm asking you guys for your input. I've asked for it several times, and it came up on the floor several times. Residents, you can go back and look at any board meeting as it relates to block by block, and you will see how passionate I am about getting rid of the vacant properties and the squatters in our community. Yet, the board still have not supported me. Again, it's up before you again, and I'm asking them to support the initial cost, which is $100,000, which is in the budget, trustee. If you read the budget, it said $100,000 is allocated for block by block, which is basically remodeling homes, going after homes, things of that nature. It's a line item for that. So, again, trustees, I'm asking you guys to support the initial backing of block by block, basically putting it on the tax fund. Excuse me.
Yeah, I got that one here. Y'all homeowners, most of you trustees are homeowners out here. Keep that in mind too.
Okay.
Mayor, can I be recognized? I just have,
Let me get to the attorney then. Okay, attorney, Ms. Howard, you have the floor.
I am sorry that I was late this evening. I was at a family event in Wisconsin that I couldn't get out. I apologize. So, Trustee Steve, I think I'm right here. So Trustee Steve raised an interesting point. And if you read section 3 of the ordinance, which is on page 4 in front of us today, the village shall develop rules and guidelines for the promotion of a program not inconsistent with this ordinance or the constraints of applicable law. The program rules will be brought to the corporate authorities for approval and shall, after approval, be subject to review and revision as applicable to track any changes in applicable law. So this ordinance contemplates that rules are brought to the board and the corporate authorities for approval. So I think the approval here tonight is that we want to go forward with the program, and then we can put a contingency on the motion for approval that says that these are the rules, and within this many days, the rules will be proposed to the corporate authorities for approval or rejection, and then we go on for a second step. But I think tonight's approval is just a preliminary step to begin the process to enhance the home ownership protocols for the people of the Village of Dalton.
So, quick question. So you say pass the ordinance. We can pass the ordinance that she will follow, that the administration will follow, that you're telling me? Because we passed 2 ordinances that this administration is not following at all. The one ordinance that she voted for was the $1,500 spending limit without board approval. That's not being followed. Hire and fire has to come before the board of approval, before the board for approval. That's not being hired. So what trust do we have if you say and do this, and this administration just saying, I don't care, we're not going to do that. I don't care if y'all wrote the ordinance. I don't care if you pass them all. We're not going to follow it. So what trust do I have in you saying, put the ordinance in place and follow when they're not following ordinance that was on the books right now?
Trustee, do you mind if I respond? It is not mine to say you should vote for something or not vote for something. I've always told everyone that it's not mine to make policy. It's this board's job to make policy. The trustees are here to vote on proposition that's brought before the staff or through the staff. It's mine to tell you what's in the law and what's not in the law. And in this case, I just want you to know that there is a program rules protocol that's set up. On the other ordinances, I haven't, I'm not addressing that here today because the motion's with regards to the proposed ordinance, an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain real estate owned by the Village of Dalton and the establishment of a block-by-block program for the neighborhood revitalization for the Village of Dalton. So again, it's not an attorney's job to make policy. It's this board's job to make policy or to shape policy as voted on and brought before the village administration or through the village administration. So I just want to be clear.
Yeah, so we make the ordinances the laws, and the administration has to follow the ordinances and the laws.
Well, everyone in the village has to follow the ordinances.
So what do you do when it's not happening?
What y'all doing? Y'all don't follow when I complain.
Trustee, if we could stick to the agenda items such as block by block. Okay, right, but I think he answered, so we're
You
not
know what, first of all, I'm
beating a
gonna
dead
have
horse.
to- I know what they
Is there
saying. I know
anything else you
the
have as relates to
y'all don't say nothing now.
this? All right, anybody else?
I wanted to speak.
Yes, go ahead, trustee.
I know we spoke about if anybody else wanted to bring a program to the village. I had a young man that Sandra Wells spoke to from the neighborhood housing that wanted to sit down with the board, create a program, housing program. Well, the first step in the process was for him to reach out to the village administrator, which he did via email and phone. But we never got anywhere because he never responded back to the young man who wanted to sit down and put a program together. So again, you say bring things forward, you bring them forward, but we don't get a response. So this is someone who I spoke with, said, hey, can you come in, sit down with us, let's put a plan together where everybody come in and work together. Well, the first step in the process never got moved on. So again, you ask us to bring our ideas, I bring them, but I'm not getting a response for it.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about you not getting a response or creating a program, but what I do know is that the Board of Trustees have complete control on committees. So if you guys was really serious about putting the vacant properties back on the tax roll, you guys could have done it at any moment by just hosting a housing committee meeting. When I became mayor, I made sure that we all was a part of that particular committee because I knew everybody up here was passionate about putting the properties back on the tax roll. But the minute I come up with a plan, no one wanted to actually execute that plan. It's all talks, but no one's doing anything about the vacant property that we get calls on daily. All I'm asking is the Board of Trustees to support my movement with the block by block. I think the residents want y'all want block by block?
Yeah.
So if they tell me they want it, how would we initiate the movement and start somewhere? Because right now, we're not doing anything. The vacant properties are just still there. We are now getting squatters, we're getting other issues about our community, and we can actually do something about it. Another issue, I brought up no cash bids, which the county does, scavenger sale. And what that entails is we could have went and got these properties for free by just going to the scavenger sale and getting no cash bid. That would have gave us the opportunity to take all the vacant properties and put it under the village. Now we would have had an inventory of property to give to the people. Y'all keep asking me how I'm gonna do this. I keep telling y'all my plan, my vision, what I would like to do, and I would like my board, and I hope y'all like when I say mine, the Board of Trustees to buy into the vision that I do have for the village of Dalton. But I cannot do it alone. I need you guys' help. I've said that several times, but that's why I keep putting it up on the agenda. If I could do this alone, it would have been done a long time ago. But right now, I need board approval to go after the vacant properties and actually put them on the tax roll. So again, I'm asking the Board of Trustees, let's start somewhere. Let's initiate this program at least. Now, if you guys have another plan or come up with another concept, we can always add on. But you can at least start this program. You could have started with 5 houses. Anything, just to see if it worked. But you guys don't even want to start. I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I'm always a doer. I go and do the things that people wouldn't do normally. And that's what makes me great. So I'm asking you guys if you just try and see if it will go through, or see my vision come to life. But I truly, truly appreciate the support.
Okay, Mayor, again, I just want to reiterate back to that. Again, it's our vision. It's not your vision. It's our vision as a municipality. Everybody has to get involved in this. And that's why I wanted to bring the plan so everybody can sit down and bring their thoughts to the table and let's draw up a plan. But I wasn't given that opportunity because he did not respond back. You gotta follow the chain of command. And the chain of command is to go through the village administrator first, and then you trickle down to the trustees and the mayor. Well, we never got a chance to do that. So again, I'm asking if we can give this guy an opportunity. I want the same thing that you want. To see these vacant houses back on the tax roll, to see them rehabbed, looking good back in the neighborhood, to bring Dalton back to where it used to be. But again, it's our plan. It's not my plan, it's not your plan, it's not their plan. It's our plan. We're all in this together. So if the village administrator can be so kind as to reach out to that young man, hey, let's set up a meeting and then go from there. But this is our plan. This is our village. We want to see it back to where it used to be. It's not all about me. It's all of us together as one.
Okay, so this is where I think a lot of people get misconstrued as it relates to government. When I run for mayor and people run on my ticket, it's the mayor's vision. That's what the community buys into, the mayor's vision, and so do her team. So when I say my vision, I gotta speak from the heart of the mayor and what my vision is to move the village forward. Now, as it relates to all, when I just spoke of you guys as being included for several months, and I've been putting it on the agenda so that we can do it together, you guys still didn't bring anything to the table. I've been asking and asking and asking, and no one come up with any ideas, any plans, nothing, because I wanted it to be a group thing. And not only that, that's why I made it be everybody on the committee. You guys saw fit to remove myself from picking committees for everybody when everybody got exactly what they wanted up here. I didn't leave anyone left out. Whereas when I was a trustee, since we going down memory lane, I didn't have one committee when I sat up here on this board, but I still did the will of the people. When I became mayor, I left nobody out. I made sure every trustee got what they wanted, especially Ed Steves, who's over Public Works, who did nothing with it back then. But thank God, under my leadership, Public Works was moving forward. What I wanted to do, once again, I don't have a problem with the gentleman that you're speaking of, and you're saying that you want to reach out to him. Trustee Norris said y'all finally having a housing meeting. When y'all took it, I'm shocked I haven't had one for 8 months, but thank God y'all having one, and maybe you guys should vet it through that. What I'm asking for is an approval today for block by block, so I can at least start with that program until you guys get what you want under control, because right now you don't have an idea what y'all want to do. So I'm asking you guys to follow my lead with block by block, and let's initiate that right now, today. One second, let me give the floor to Trustee Norris.
Mayor, so you and I, we did speak regarding this program. And my concern is, as other trustees are saying, it's incomplete. As a realtor, I know that there's way more factors that we have to consider than this one sheet. As I stated to you, in regards to the investment portion of it, I told you my thoughts, and I know you said that you take them back and you make the appropriate changes, but I just think that it's the best way to go about this, because as Trustee House stated, it's a good program. I just feel as if we should have more information, because I voted on things as trustee that information, or you brought to us in regards to the housing. You brought the housing to us, you brought us a plan that wasn't all the way completed, and I voted on it. But after I voted on it, you made changes to it, and residents were calling me saying, hey, what changes were made? And I wasn't even privy to the information. So when the attorney states, hey, well, there's an ordinance in place and everyone will follow them, that'll be great, but the truth of the matter is that's not what's happening at the moment. So, but if we send it to committee, to the housing committee, I stated to you that there will be a meeting on this Thursday at 6:30, and I know you've been wondering what we've been working on for the last month or two. I've been speaking with Trustee Brown, who is also a member of the committee, and she's been trying to bring the guy who she was referring to, Sandra Wells, to the administrator. So I know she wanted to follow the proper protocol and see if there were alternative programs that we can implement, so we can have several different options when we do have this meeting on this Thursday. But if we send it to housing committee, we all can make our suggestions, and we all can complete the program, and then maybe we'll be able to vote on it on a completed program. And then in regards to the land bank, we've had the land bank before. Neighboring communities have used the land bank. We've even profited off the land bank before with the Taco Bell. When we had the land bank, we purchased the Taco Bell and the village was compensated. So that actually helped the residents and helped our village. So when we say there are other alternatives in regards to programs, and they specialize, that's what the land bank do. They specialize in it, and once we do give them permission to move forward with the program, we're able to work things out so that we can be compensated and so that the properties are still occupied. So when I know the concern is occupying the vacancies, that's all of our concern. But I would like to use someone who specializes in it, so that once the property, so we're not liable for the property, because that's a big thing also. Insurances, as long as we have these homes, we're responsible for them. So if something happens while we're responsible for them, the village is sued. Whereas if we give it to the land bank, someone who specializes in something like this, they're responsible. Now it shifts the responsibility of the village into someone who actually specializes in this sort of thing. So I'm not against the blah 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 program, but I do think as the housing chair, you should send it to committee so that we can make the appropriate changes, so that we are comfortable with everything that's detailed prior to us making a vote on it. So again, that's my stance on it. We're having a housing committee meeting on Thursday at 6:30. Please, residents, feel free to bring your suggestions, your concerns. I do believe in transparency, so I am willing to have a program and to use alternative programs. So we'll bring the land bank on. The board has already approved the land bank. We're moving forward on Thursday. And again, we can have alternative programs. Feel free to bring the ideas to housing committee. Let's discuss it. But let's just do what's best for the people in regards to our next move regarding housing. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so why it sounds as though you guys don't want to do my program because the air came up. And then y'all said mine because I came up with the idea. But everybody don't have any type of substance as it relates to anything to do with the vacant property. I don't think it's fair to the residents. I don't think it's fair that you guys keep belaboring the movement to get the vacant property back on the tax roll. I think we should do something now. I don't think that we should move anything to housing committee, because if you guys truly wanted to do something about it, y'all had over 8 months to actually put a plan together. But yet when I put a plan together, everybody has to go against that plan. And as the attorney just stated to you, he told you guys this is a template. This is the start of block by block. And then from there, you put in what you want. But no one's hearing that. Everyone wants to not do anything. And I think you guys should do something today as relates to block by block. At least vote to start it. That's what I'm asking for. Any other discussion? All right, there's a motion and a second on the floor to approve block by block. Let's call roll, please.
Trustee Brown?
No.
Trustee House?
I think it was great passion. I would love to see it put on paper and then I can reconsider, but at this time, no.
Trustee Norwood?
I think that we can consider at one point, we can send it to housing committee. At this time, no.
Trustee Steve?
No.
Trustee Holmes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And for the record, residents, you see what just happened here. This is the issue that we have in our community. People want to move at their pace, and right now, I actually do move fast as it relates to getting you guys is what you need and deserve. No one deserves to live next to a vacant house. No one deserves to live to a house that becomes squatters in it. I got a ton of those complaints in our community, and I still vow to this day to do something about it. I am working on different alternatives to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. So, next on the agenda, discussion of Village of Dalton Facebook policy and restricting comments. Trustee House.
Okay, this is just a discussion or a brief. I have a question. Some months ago, it was brought to my attention by some residents, I believe some of them are present, that they were being blocked in comments on social media for them trying to give their input or feedback. In particular, when we did not have in-person meetings, they were not allowed to access it. So I want to ask, I'm not sure if that's village administrator. When I did ask, it was kicked to our attorney. So I just want to ask. Yeah, I got an email that said they were sending it to legal. So my question is, what is the policy? Are people being blocked? Are people unable to comment? And if so, what's the criteria for that? So that way the community will know. That's just a general question for whoever may be able to answer.
So for the record, no one's being blocked from social media or restricted as it relates to comments. I don't even understand why we're discussing Facebook. I care about real life stuff. But you guys thought it was okay to talk about Facebook, so I put whatever the trustees want on the agenda. But we got bigger things to deal with, but that is the comment as relates to Facebook. I rarely go on Facebook. I don't even have time to deal with Facebook. It's basically a show. It's fake accounts. It's people bullying people. I'm not into none of that. I'm into progress and moving our village forward and talking about the real business at hand for the village of Dalton. And I never stop stressing about block by block. And I just want to point out how we just got off a big topic of block by block, and the trustee said no to that. But what we care about is the Facebook policy on comments. I think people need to get their priorities in order, because I know I got mine. So.
May I be recognized?
No.
Y'all on the people's time, how's that? Y'all on the people's time, man. Come on, man.
Go ahead.
When I was the meeting director, you have to look at there could be major lawsuits in villages, restrictive law, Facebook comments, that's reality. That's what doing that. So you have to get it. It's just my input.
But we're not doing anything like that. I know people accuse us of assuming things going on. We don't have time for that. In all honesty.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
People need to sue or whatever they're gonna do it. Guess what? When you are a municipality or anything, it's the first thing come out of everybody's mouth, lawsuit. But we're not blocking anyone because we don't have time to deal with the minute things. That's social media. But trustee, did that answer your question as relates to restricted comments? Any more discussion?
You answered my question. I'll say that was questions that residents sent in. It was sent via email. If emails were responded to, we would not be in this meeting doing something.
Right. And I do believe things like that is stuff that we could discuss off record, because right now just took a moment of our time in an actual board meeting trying to get business taken care of. That's it. All right, moving on. Discussion on Village of Dalton overdue FOIA items. Trustee House.
Actually, I believe this will be tied in with discussion that will happen on the next agenda item, so I'll remove this item.
Okay, so next is appointment of new FOIA officer. That's myself and Attorney Vazali. Basically, I'm going to appoint, thank you. I'm going to appoint a FOIA officer because right now there's a ton of FOIAs coming into the Village of Dalton, and we need everybody to keep up with the FOIA process. Most employees are overwhelmed because it has to go to the FOIA officer and then from the FOIA officer to the department heads. And right now we are behind, and by being behind meaning we ask for an extension. So what you can do. So I just want people to know what's going on. And currently right now that FOIA officer will be Medina Neely, will be the FOIA officer.
Mayor, may I speak?
Sure. Go ahead.
Good evening, residents. As the village clerk, I am the FOIA officer. I was designated by the statutes of the state of Illinois. Let me explain to you guys how the FOIA process works in this village. When any of you submit a FOIA request, it comes to my office. Because I do not maintain the records of all the departments within this village, I send those requests to whatever department that FOIA request is for. They have 5 days, but actually less than that, to respond to me so that I can respond to the requester. Currently, that's not happening. When I send FOIA requests to departments, they are not returning them. They're telling me that they're being told not to reply to them. I'm doing my job, but I'm not receiving the information that I am requesting. As the FOIA officer, the mayor cannot appoint someone else to take my job. I am the village FOIA officer. I am certified by the Attorney General. Not only am I certified, my deputy is certified to conduct the FOIA process. We cannot do our job if the departments aren't providing us with the items that we request. Many of you know, since I've been in office, I created an electronic device so that we can capture and track all the FOIAs that come into the village, so that we will know when they come in, who they were sent to, and that we get them back in a timely manner. I have a report here tonight through the electronic system that I brought into the village that, yes, shows 63 past due FOIA requests. 63 past due. And it is not because I refuse to respond to them. It is because I'm not being provided the answers. Do you appoint someone else because you're not receiving the information? Why would you appoint someone else? Are people only responding to certain people? As the elected village clerk, I am responsible for FOIAs. Currently, lawsuits are being thrown around, I'm being complained. Complaints are going to the Attorney General's office. They're not going on the mayor. They're not going on anyone else. They're being complaints filed against me. And I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job in accordance with the FOIA guidelines. And when I ask staff, why aren't you returning FOIAs? They're telling me I'm being told not to. I even have documentation to prove that they're being told not to respond. So when you talk about taking my duties, no one's talked about taking your duties. But when you talk about taking my duties, that's a problem when I'm doing my job. I'm responsible for mail. I don't get any mail because the mail is not being routed to my office as it should. So you guys need to know the truth. You elected me. You come in here to do a job. I'm committed to doing this job, but the village has to work with me. You have to work with me, you have to work with my deputy. I would never intentionally withhold information from anyone who requested within this village, within any community, the residents, as well as the people who come in here and request information. I would never intentionally withhold information because I took an oath to be transparent, and that's what I am.
All right. So, basically, sorry, I just like you guys to see. I have 2 certifications here from the Attorney General. One for Allison Key and one for my deputy, Eris Montgomery. We are certified. You just can't put anybody in a position to be a FOIA officer and they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so that's her side. Now here's my side.
It's the truth.
The clerk isn't doing her job. The clerk barely comes to work. You can come in Village Hall, you won't see her. When I say, Mary Kay, I miss you, I miss you. She do not work the hours she's supposed to, and she places blame when the heat goes on her. I would never tell anybody not to give information as is related to the Village of Dalton. I have no reason to. I don't have to tell them not to give or answer a FOIA request. When you guys FOIA anything and everything, guess what? The department head is supposed to give it to you. And I told everybody up here, if you don't get anything from a department head or something go wrong, let me know so I'll know and I can discipline the individual that's not giving you what you're saying. But when you just sit up here and say that they did not, my staff know better. They know to give everything as it relates to a FOIA out right away. Because at the end of the day, they have to uphold the law.
May I respond?
Okay, one second, Clerk. The other issue I have is, as mayor, I take a lot of heat for every and anything that goes on in the Village of Dalton or anything that goes on with the board. I'm not taking any heat for the clerk as it relates to any FOIA because we do have emails as it relates to things that we turn in to the clerk to make sure she gets it out. But if she comes to work, it would get out in the mail to you like it should. And it has not been because the clerk has been absent. So I want the facts on the record, this is all for the record, Clerk, that we do our part as it relates to my department heads. So I just want that to be known. And then, yeah, can I let me get a floor here?
Okay, sure.
Okay, attorney?
Sure, and then just for the edification of the board, I'm reading from section 3.5 of the Freedom of Information Act, which reads, each public body shall designate one or more officials or employees as its Freedom of Information officer or officers. So again, the public body shall designate one or more officials or employees to act as its Freedom of Information officer or officers. So there can be multiple FOIA officers. The clerk does have her certification, and I believe that the deputy clerk also has a certification. Is that correct? Now again, to the issue of appointments, I'm reading from section 5-3.1 30-5A. The mayor or the president, as the case may be, by and with the advice and consent of the city council or the board of trustees, subsection 11, may appoint, subsection 11, other officers necessary to carry into effect the powers conferred upon municipalities. So the proposition here tonight was to appoint someone in addition to serve as the Freedom of Information officer. And that, again, reading from the statute, each public body shall designate one or more of officials or employees to act as its Freedom of Information officer or officers.
Are you done, attorney?
Yeah, man.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I just, thank you.
Let me just clear something up here. Unfortunately, the mayor wants me to be an employee. She wants me to report to her. I am not a full-time employee here. That's why I have a deputy clerk who's full-time employee. She's here every day. I'm here more than what she's saying. I also work from my home because I've set up devices where I can work from home. In regards to me just simply not answering floors, I can't believe that she's sitting here saying here, she don't know what goes on in my office. She's never come to my office to inquire about anything. So when I realized that the employees were not replying to FOIAs, I went to the village administrator. I said, look, we're subject to tons of lawsuits because I'm not receiving the information that I should receive to respond to these FOIAs. And I'd like to see whatever documentation she has that shows that I don't do my job. The village administrator told me, you know what he told me? Because I said, we're going to be subject to lawsuits. He said, let them sue us. Wow. Do we want to spend our tax-paying dollars like this? Do we want people to sue us just because no one wants to reply to FOIAs? Did I want to sue her? No. I just simply want to do my job. Let the staff do their job. Staff is not lying. I have documentation. And I will be willing to show it in a law of court that people have confirmed to me that they're being told not to respond to my FOIAs. I don't have to sit here and lie. I will not lie. I am telling you how it is. I am a clerk who works round the clock. It doesn't have to be in this building because I've set up mechanism to work from my home wherever I choose to work. I keep the business done. I've had people send me emails on Saturday. I've had people send me things on Sundays, and I've responded. So to sit here and say I'm not doing my job, I am insulted. I am totally insulted because I go beyond my job. Since I've taken that office, I've put mechanisms to place to make this place run more effectively. That's why we have an electronic FOIA system to track every FOIA that come into this office, to track how long it takes those FOIAs to be completed. I made sure all the staff was trained on this system so they would not have any problems recognizing and knowing how to reply. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Not only did I make sure they were trained, but I also gave them a link so if they forgot something, they can always go back and refresh their memory on what they need to do. So yeah, staff is afraid here, but it's not because we're threatening them, that's because they're being threatened by someone else. I am friendly with every single village employee here. I speak to them every day, I talk to them. They're not afraid of me because I'm one of the most pleasant people that walk through these doors. So to say that I'm not doing my job, I am just totally insulted. I have documentation to prove. Show me where I have not intentionally not responded to a FOIA.
Okay.
Show that to me.
Okay, Clerk.
Show it to me. No, now you want me to wrap up because I'm telling the truth.
No, you had the floor for like 10 minutes.
Well, however long it takes.
Anything else?
However long it takes. So I don't want you, the residents of Dalton, who voted me into this position, to think that I didn't come here to do a job. I've lived here for over 30 years and I'm very passionate about this village. So why would I take a position just to walk? In fact, the mayor begged me to get on her ticket. So why would I intentionally not do my job once I'm in office? I go beyond the call of duty. I work every day. I attend training to make sure that everything in the clerk's office is being done correctly. In fact, I'm scheduled for training this week. So to be told or to be stated that I'm not doing my job, I am just totally insulted.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda.
You're not voting on it?
Okay.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Was there a motion in a second? Item, I apologize. 6E.
6E.
Yes.
No, there was not a motion or a second.
Were we done with comments?
Yeah, let's do the motion tonight. Is there a motion to approve Medina Neely as the new FOIA officer? Is there a motion? Okay. All right, moving on. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I want to make sure I'm still able for discussion. Do I have to do a
Yeah,
motion?
we'll do a discussion, then we'll move on. If no one wants to put a motion on the floor, it's not even discussed. Nobody want to put a motion on the floor?
I'll motion on the FOIA officer for discussion purposes, but I'm motion to
All
approve.
right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah, so Mayor, I just think that in regards to this whole appoint someone new, I just think it's unfair. It goes back to what I was stating in the very beginning. We were all elected to do a job. And I just feel as if you avoid accountability by not providing us with the information that we're entitled to as elected officials. And then instead of you providing the information that we're entitled to, you prefer to just not give us the information and then say, oh, let's just have someone else do it. It's just completely unfair. I mean, I look at how the clerk and deputy clerk have implemented new electronic systems, making it easier for the residents. I like the system. I think that anything that we can do to make it easier for the residents, that's the goal. So I just feel as if it's unfair again, how instead of you just working with your team and trying to figure out how you can work with the clerk, why assign someone else to do the job that she was elected to do? I just think these are the things that you do to circumvent the trustees and the clerk. These are the things you do to circumvent authority. If that's their job, let them do it. Provide them with the information that she needs so that she can reply to the FOIAs and everything will be done. We wouldn't need to appoint someone new, but that's how I feel about it, Mayor.
Okay, so, she's not doing her job. So to help her with her job, I'm appointing someone. And I don't know if anybody understands, I told the attorney to bring the rules for what trustees do, what mayors do. I can appoint multiple people as the FOIA office. Prime example, and I know Trustee Steve knows this, over in Calumet City, he appointed someone else. It is not the clerk. So let's be clear. You can appoint other people for that position. So I like people to know the facts. So why everybody up here talking about whatever, the facts is I can appoint someone to that seat.
Without approval.
May I add something, please? I also read that section, and not only can the mayor appoint, the clerk can appoint as well. So it is not just the mayor, and I did appoint. So that is just not the sole responsibility of the mayor.
I did not say that. You appointed someone.
And I did.
Someone as well.
So then you have to give justification for reappointing. Your justification is incorrect.
Okay, Clerk. We're not going to go back and forth.
We don't have to.
Statement.
We don't have to.
It's for the record, please.
It is for the record.
Anything else? All right, let's move on. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, just a couple of quick points. One is, I know in terms of full-time, we have our deputy clerk who is here full-time, who I believe has been doing a phenomenal job. I believe Clerk Key has been doing an outstanding job. And it goes back, I think we've been doing a lot of the back and forth. And we really need, that's why I keep saying, if it's not on paper, it doesn't exist. Clerk has shared with the board some of her attempts to complete the FOIA process. I would love if the administration would share some of their efforts to present to the clerk's office so that we can make an informed decision. As of today, I've not received any documentation. Again, we're in here, we're having it felt like we're having basement talk right now, really. We're just in one big basement, we're talking about what's good, but when you ask for paperwork, it's just not there. So at this time, I'm not in favor of appointing an additional FOIA officer.
All right. You call the roll.
What are we calling the roll for?
To appoint Medina again.
Sure. Trustee Brown?
No.
Trustee House?
No.
Trustee Norwood?
No.
Trustee Steve?
No.
Trustee Holmes? Motion passed. Failed.
Okay, moving on. Next, on the agenda, under F, termination of contract for legislative counsel, Otis, Clerk, Murphy, Frazier, and McGrath, put on by Mayor Henry. So, the reason why I put this on the agenda tonight is because this attorney or this firm has been doing things the wrong way as it relates to educating their clients, which is the Board of Trustees. Now, the board took their advice and added to put on a recall for myself as me. Now, the problem I have with that is, why would you go and waste taxpayer dollars to do something so malicious when I've done nothing wrong? Now, everybody have their opinion of how they feel I should handle things here at the Village of Dalton, but I've done nothing corrupt. I've never stolen anything. I've done nothing wrong that warrants a recall. So, this attorney, we have sent him to the state's attorney, the attorney general, and we have also got complaints back from the PAC. And for those that understand that is, if you have a problem with your board, you send it down to the attorney general. He then reviews it, and he comes back and tell you if it's legal or illegal. And when we got our complaints back, it stated that the Board of Trustees has been doing illegal things. Do you have that? Okay, we don't have it to read, so we will email it to everybody as relates to the PAC complaints. And basically, you cannot have separate meetings. You cannot do a lot of things that the Board of Trustees has been doing. So I'm asking for the Board of Trustees to terminate the Legislative Council and utilize the council that was appointed in May, which is Ansel and Glee, which is Shantae Raines, and Jimmy here, he works co-beside with her when she's not available. I'm asking you guys to follow pursuit on that because I don't see that either attorney have done anything wrong or to you or haven't given you something. All of them are accessible. All of them you can talk to or reach out. And I fired Bert Otis's law firm when I became heir. So then the Board of Trustees turned around and rehired them as legislative counsel. So I don't like when people bring other people in to stir up tension and confusion amongst myself and the board members, because that's what the attorney is for, to make comments or make it uncomfortable for the mayor and the fight for the trustees. So go back and forth, back and forth. That's a waste of taxpayer dollars. I don't appreciate it. I think it needs to stop. And I know that a lot of residents have asked me not to pay Bert's company for what he is doing. And you have my word, he would not be getting a check from the Village of Dalton, because right now he have you guys doing illegal things. And I think that you guys, if you educate yourselves on it, you'll see it before it's too late. So I'm asking again, you guys to terminate the contract and let's basically be one. Let's unify and say we can work together with the attorneys that we do have on staff. Any comments? Any discussion?
Well, the only thing I would like to say, and we recognize, is that this administration has given out raises illegally, and your attorney didn't say nothing about it, and they let it go on. There's a lot of things, so it's always a discussion between mayors, up to interpretation. Raises were given out. Different things were done illegally that we didn't know about until after the fact. So, I mean, everybody, if that's the case, how is it that raises given out, and the attorneys know about it after the first, it's illegal, and now, oh, it's illegal. Yeah, it is illegal. But that's stuff that's happening. That's just the question I got from the attorney for selling.
Okay.
Trustee, I do not know of any illegal actions that's gone on in the village. So,
no raises were given out without board
no,
approval?
no, what you said, sir,
Legal.
was that the attorneys knew about illegal actions that went on and then they went on. So my response to you is, I know of no illegal actions that have gone on at the village.
Raises were given out improper and illegal without board approval. And it happened after the fact. So if you weren't aware of that, that's on you. We knew about it. How? I don't know. You tell me. How did it happen without board approval? When it's supposed to be board approval?
Trustee, so you're upset because someone earned...
I'm not upset.
No, you're upset because someone earned a raise, way qualified. We bought them in low and because they got a raise.
No.
You upset?
No. It's the procedure to go through the board. And you didn't go through the board. That's what bothers me. It has to go through the board. And there's certain raises and money has to be spent that has to go through the board. You demanded that as a trustee. Now it's like, oh, I'm gonna do it anyway? I'm asking for, there's certain things that we're responsible for, let us be responsible for. If we're responsible for the raises of appointments and it's done without board approval, then what do we do? That's exactly, it doesn't get no clearer than that. Raises, everything has to be appointed, has to be voted on by the board, and it's not coming to us. And then we find out after the fact, oh, we gave him a raise. Oh, we gave him a raise. I'm not saying they're not justified or weren't qualified. That's not the question. All I'm asking for is to respect the board that you say you want to work with. Respect the board, to work with your board, respect them, and give us the proper ammunition information to do it. Don't come to after the fact and say, oh, by the way, I did do that. That's wrong. And your attorneys were okay with that.
That's not true. That's not true. Instead of going, one second, instead of going back and forth with you, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I said.
All right, thank you. Next.
I just got a question, because again, I am new, and I do wonder from the attorney, because one attorney told, it's to my knowledge that and I just wanted to be clear for the residents so we don't have to keep having this conversation as to why do we care. Because I feel as if your whole thing is, okay, well, as long as it was paid, why do you care? If they earned it, why do you care? When the question should be, why are we not following protocol? That's really the question. So I guess for the attorney, one attorney told us before that all raises are supposed to come in front of the board to be approved. So we don't have a problem. Let's just clear up the narrative when you say, oh, you all have a problem with giving someone a raise. We don't. But we are, again, responsible for the taxpayers' money. We're responsible. So if a resident comes to me on the streets and they say, hey, what was paid last month, Trustee Norwood? And I say, I don't know, because I wasn't given the list. How is the resident supposed to feel? And that's the big concern, it gets frustrating when you have this narrative, even when the attorneys say, oh, well, we weren't informed. No disrespect to you, Attorney Vasselli, but we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be putting a referendum on the ballot if things were put into place to stop you from doing some of the things that are taking place illegally, such as the raises. It is the taxpayers' money and we're responsible for it. We're supposed to be notified. Bring it across the board like we're supposed to do. Notify us. So I guess the question here, I just said, is our raise is supposed to come across the board, or just make sure I'm clear on it?
the board can, no, I'm sorry. First of all, let me start. You asked a question, or you made a statement before you asked the question. And if, with your permission, Trustee, I'd like to go back to co-counsel, let's just say co-counsel, the village attorney, and find out some of the details about what you're asking about. Would that be okay?
Okay, well, I guess, and I just want to make this clear.
Yeah.
Are you saying, is that, in regards to my question, are you saying that you want to go back to co-counsel and check about the raise?
What you said was, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we're saying the same thing.
Okay.
So what you said was you spoke to an attorney, obviously that would not be me, and they said that these things need to go before the board.
When we were we were all present. I don't know if you were. Okay, you probably weren't present, but the attorney stated to us, you all's attorney, the mayor was present, that we are supposed to be notified. Raises are supposed to come in front of the board. We're supposed to say, okay, who is this raise being paid? Who's the employee? We're supposed to take a look at it, and then the board is supposed to approve it before the raise is put into place. I guess I'm asking, is that the proper protocol, yes or no?
Generally, the board controls the purse.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask an indulgence of you. Do you mind if I talk to co-counsel and get the background of this fact and we issue a written opinion on this before the next, or at, or before the next board meeting? It's hard for me to comment on a legal opinion that another attorney made without speaking to that other attorney.
Okay, let's take that attorney out of the equation, just for all the residents and for us to be clear. Are we, the board, is the board supposed to be notified? Mayor, the attorney, is the board supposed to be notified regarding the
So
raises?
basically, he just answered your question, which is he's gonna let Shantae handle it, because that's where y'all got y'all response from. So that's what he's saying.
Okay, I get that, but no, he said in regards to Shantae saying it, I'm just asking in general, forget Shantae saying it. I'm just asking, just so I know, is our raises supposed to come from the board? I know he knows that, right?
No, he don't, he's not our general counsel, that's what I stated, it's Shantae Reynolds.
Okay, so
He's just sitting in for him today. So every question that y'all have, you have to go to the actual attorney.
okay, so
Ms. Shantae,
okay, Mayor, do you?
Shantae will respond to you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to terminate the contract for legislative counsel?
I motion.
It's been motion, is there a second? Y'all don't want to terminate y'all attorney?
You can't be honest with him, you wasn't here.
The legislative counsel costing us money. Something we didn't budget for, y'all just hired them. Y'all don't want to counsel. All right, motion fails. Moving on. Next on the agenda is illegal action. Termination of contract for village administrator. Trustee Brown, you have the floor. Okay.
I request that this item be brought before the board and believe executive session to be the appropriate place for the communication, since it involves an employee who alleges to be under contract. So I'm asking for executive session.
Okay, so you motion for it to go in closed session?
Yes.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
For personnel, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, it's been motion and second. Please call the roll.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
No, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
motion passed.
Madam Chair, so we have on the agenda executive session for litigation, which is Roman numeral 9A, litigation. So I do believe there's a bunch of people in the audience. Would it be the indulgence of the mayor and the board to allow the people to address, the next two items would be mayor's report and citizens address. And then would it be okay if we went into closed session for both items after the people were allowed to talk, the mayor gave her address and whatnot? Then do you want to make a motion now to go in also for litigation? Because you have to, as you all know, under the open meetings, you have to give the reason as to why you're going into closed session.
Okay, so is there a motion to go in closed session for the approval of settlement distribution for TIF redevelopment for 300 West Sibley Economic Development, contingent of full dismissal of lawsuit? And it's for litigation. Is there a motion?
So, I just want to make sure I'm stating this correctly, so attorney, correct me if I'm saying it improperly. I motion that we move item G to go with litigation as well as an executive session after citizens address.
Sure, and the motion is to go into, yes, a closed session for litigation matters after items, I guess that would be 7 and 8, at the same time as your personnel motion for closed session.
What he said.
Thank you, trustee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, can you call the roll?
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Norwood,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
Aye.
motion passed.
All right. All right, so we got one last letter H on this agenda. So basically, on H, I'm asking for consideration and approval of a resolution rescinding, revoking, canceling, and repealing the approved resolution on December 8th of 2021. I'm gonna explain to you what's going on with that. onto the agenda because currently now, the Board of Trustees is seeking to recall my seat here in the Village of Dalton. Again, I will state for the record, I have not done anything wrong. I have not stolen anything or did anything that warrants a recall. Now, I ask the Board of Trustees, if you want to recall someone, add yourselves to this recall. Don't just put the recall, add yourselves to the recall. Then let's see who survives. Because I did not get elected by 5 individuals. I got elected by 82% of the community. The people put me here. And how dare you guys sit here and make a resolution to recall my seat because you don't like me or don't agree with what I have to say is not fair. Because if that was the case, I would have did what I did best, which is hit the street and got 800 signatures to put 3 referendum questions on the ballot in 2 days. So if that don't tell you that the people got a love for their mayor, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm asking you guys to repeal this ordinance / resolution. And basically, let's start over. Because at the end of the day, I feel united we stand, divided we fall. And right now, we have to set the precedence for the Village of Dalton. And as your mayor, and I have made history, and how dare you guys try to tarnish that by me being the first African-American female to actually sit in this seat. I just don't appreciate all the slander and things that I go through just to say I want to be a servant for the people. It's not fair, it's not right, it's not warranted, and if it was a man, which it was all before me, they didn't get half the scrutiny I get now in the Village of Dalton. So I'm asking again you guys to reconsider your positions as it relates to this recall, because again, I've done nothing wrong right now. I just have a matter of opinion of how I run the day-to-day operation. Now, if it was smart, I would have wished that 2 of the trustees, was 3 that been on this board, Ed Steves, Jason House, Tammy Brown, would have done the same thing when the resident was crying out when Rowdy sat in his chair. No one stood up for the people either. Y'all didn't try to but yet, you see fit to recall someone that made history, and y'all know that I went and I took that seat. So y'all should do the same exact thing. If you want me gone, you wait your turn. You wait your 4 years. You wait till 2025, and then you come and you try to take the seat like I did the mayor. So I'm asking again for the 5th time, can you guys repeal this resolution? Is there a motion?
I motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Is there a second? Y'all hate me that bad, huh?
Yeah.
We love you, Mayor.
Okay. Is there a second? Try it again. Second, maybe I didn't hear it. Speaking to the mic, please. Okay. All right, so there you have it. The trustees still want to initiate the recall, but I wish there was a way that the people can speak and that the people can add the trustees to the recall. Always remember, what goes around comes around. Every dog has its day. We will be victorious. I'm not worried about this. As you know, I keep elevating, I keep moving, and it's a lot of jealousy and envy amongst us, and I'm sick and tired of it, because there's no reason or no way that people sat on this board 4 years with me said nothing to the actual corruption that was going on in Dalton. The media out for the actual corruption that was going on in Dalton. It's a shame that we on the front page or on the news all the time due to the fact that the Board of Trustees don't have their way. That's a shame that you would sit here and allow us to go on social media, on each news channel about your dislike instead of facts. Let's speak facts. That's why you hear me say, please, all the reporters or journalists, ask both parties. Do not just write one-sided. Get the facts before you write, because no one ever reaches out to the mayor and asks me my opinion on what you're writing. I do have Keith Freeman, the village administrator, you can reach him, or you can reach Nikita McGrath. Either one of them, if you cannot reach me personally when you call my cell, because I do get a lot of calls that do come through. But I am asking the people to make sure you stand with me, stand strong. You all know that I'm a fighter, and I appreciate everybody and their love and their support for your mayor. I won't stop fighting. I can't stop, won't stop, right? Okay, so now we're going to basically have citizens address, and it's crazy how quiet everybody is up here. Ain't nobody got nothing to say, nothing. But let's wait and see what happens. We'll do citizens address. You have 3 minutes, and then we're going to go in closed session. Anybody want to stay afterwards, you can. Chief, he has the clock. Chief, everybody got 3 minutes.
Mayor, before we do public comment, right? I mean, I just think that it would be remiss of me, and I really hate to do the back and forth, so I was actually going to sit silent a minute, but it's disturbing when you continue to say, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's like we met a few weeks ago. You met me 2-3 weeks ago and you asked me why I felt as if the referendum, why I was for the referendum. You and I spoke one-on-one, and I explained to you, I said, hey Mayor, is there a way for us to compromise? You and I met sometime last year. You and I met at the restaurant, we've met at church with the pastor. We've continued to meet, and I continue to ask you, I said, well Mayor, can you compromise? Can you work with the board? Can you compromise? And what you stated to me was, Trustee, you need to know how this works. Mayors, governors, presidents, they all make the rules and everyone else just follows. And we've been back and forth ever since, when all we're asking is that you compromise and allow us to do our job. This whole narrative of us not wanting to do our job, provide us with the warrant list. Give us the information that's needed. If we have an ordinance to put in place, implement the ordinance. If there's checks that need to be, bills that need to be paid, bring it past the board. If there's raises that you feel need to be implemented, bring it across the board. Just allow us to do our job. That's all I want to do. I just told the residents that I'll speak up for them and that I would work for them. And that's what I'm trying to do. If I see money being spent that shouldn't be spent, it's my job to say something. I'm responsible. I'm accountable. So let's just not get it misconstrued. I don't want any other authority than the authority that I'm entitled to. These are things that I'm entitled to. If it's a payroll out there, every week I come in this office, somebody else is being hired. How is that the case if we have a hire and fire ordinance in place? Who's implementing that? So again, I just like to say, I don't mind working with you. I'll say publicly again the same thing I stated to you when I met with you. I don't mind compromising. I don't mind doing what's best for the people. But you have to be willing to compromise. You can't come up here with this my way or no way attitude, and that's what you do. You say, okay, well board, if you all are not in total agreement, then I'll just find a way to get around it. You can't continue to circumvent us. Work with your board. Every good leader, and I told you this when we met a few weeks ago, in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. That's just it. You have to listen to us also. It's compromise. So that's my stance on that again. We all will have a chance. The residents will get a chance to speak. When my time is up again, they'll get a chance to vote on June the 28th. They'll get a chance to let their voices be heard. But again, in regards to why I feel that this referendum should be put in place, you refuse to compromise. You tell me one thing and then you do another. When we met a few weeks ago, you asked me, well, what do you need, Trustee Norwood? I said, well, Mayor, the warrant list. When can I get the warrant list? You said, I'll give it to you next week. I just got the warrant list last week, a few days ago. So again, let's just be fair. Again, all we ask is for you to compromise. This wouldn't even be on the referendum if you just work with us. That's all I ask for, is that you work with us so we can work together as a team. That's it, and compromise. Thank you.
Okay, I got 2 statements before I start citizens address. Basically, I think I done said enough as relates to the town hall meeting that everybody came to. Thank you for coming out and supporting. But I do believe that these trustees have been wasting taxpayer money on lawsuits and bogus recalls. Every time something goes wrong or don't go their way, they run it to the news with false narratives. They attacking our employees through this catfish accounts on social media. They're refusing to pay bills by not showing up to meetings. They're refusing to vote for block by block a plan that will literally help community. Not one trustee, not one, except Trustee Holmes, agreed to do block by block, which I know y'all want and need. I know y'all want y'all kids to live within the community that you guys have built for them. I too want that. Let me tell you what we've been doing, because everything else ain't nothing but noise. That's it. No matter how many attacks I get, I still stay the course. I still make sure I do what I'm supposed to do as mayor for the people. I implemented cleaning programs to help beautify Dalton. I've also partnered with organizations such as Chicago Urban League to bring free programs for all small business owners to help establish their business the right way so they can properly apply for funding and grants to help their businesses. So far, we've had over 150 small businesses to register for a free 6-week class. We've given away thousands of food baskets and turkeys to our residents. And I've always given away gas. Y'all know I'm known for giving away gas. Thousands of dollars worth of gas. We've also helped single parents for resources for their children, because everyone knows I am a single parent, and I feel that they need resources, and a lot of times people ignore them. So I always advocate for the single parent. We've held a toy drive this past holiday season, and we gave away 2,500 toys to children of Dalton. We most recently held an Easter egg hunt this past weekend, where over 300 kids showed up to the church. Oh my God, amazing. I had nowhere to put them. I thank y'all for coming out. We met with the pastors in Dalton to organize programs to help our residents. I've also partnered with Fifth Third Bank to bring a homeowners and home buyers seminar to Dalton to educate the residents on options and opportunities regarding home ownership.
Block by block.
I brought back employees appreciation events to increase the morale within the village. I've hosted the first 4th of July fireworks display, which hasn't been done over a decade, on July 2nd of 2021. And we're doing another one this July 2nd, so y'all be prepared to come on out. We've improved the new village hall, which y'all are in, with paint, panel, floors, desks, clerk area. We are now working on our infrastructure in our community, and we are now going after grants. Dalton Police Department and I have hosted a car show, which they wanted to help bridge the gap between the community and the police department. Good job, Chief Collins and National Night Out. Y'all give it up for Chief Collins, man. He done worked his butt off. And with many complaints from the residents, I plan to have a animal control unit within Dalton, and I announced this at the town hall meeting. Anybody want to play Pops on Friday? I'm looking for people to make a video. I've also hosted a Stop the Violence March. Everybody knows I'm totally against violence. Breast cancer and domestic walks throughout our village. And I've also hosted seniors who come out to drives such as senior health fair, vaccination events, senior lunches, and bingo day. We have a ton of infrastructure projects. Tino, anything for infrastructure? No? Okay, we have a ton of infrastructure projects going on. One being Rebuild Illinois Street Servicing of $700,000 complete. I announced this at the town hall, so I'm just reiterating for those that wasn't there. We paid Village Hall, the police department, and we're currently working on public works. We also put new roofs throughout our community, so that is the firehouse, the police station, Village Hall, and the payment center next door, and the old Village Hall. We also are working on repaving streets throughout Dalton, sidewalk replacement, and also alleys. I know that's something that everyone complained about. So if you have an alley that's in need of repair, please apply. Please let us know so we can add you to the list. We also have the vacant houses demolition list going on. So if it is a vacant house that's in need of tearing down, please let us know, because we're getting that list together now so we can demo houses hopefully by June. We also have economic development projects such as my restaurant row, I keep saying my restaurant row because I'm so passionate about all those restaurants coming up on Sibley at 300 West Sibley, and he's gonna put over 10 sit-down restaurants there. Thank you, Bob Michaels. He's in the back there. He's the owner of 300 West Sibley. And then also the downtown area right here. I just want to give you a little memory lane right here to my left. You have the Old Secrets. We are going to put a sit-down upscale steakhouse right here. He sent plans over. He's working on that currently now to my left. And then across the street where the old Mr. Ricky sat, I want to do a Veterans Park there. And then if you go across the street, you got the MB Financial Bank building here, but go over one more to the right, you have the Dalton Liquors there. I want to put a sit-down, upscale, jazz, blues restaurant there with halls cut out. So these are some of the plans that we do have. And then when you go along Greenwood there, the plans we had, and we showed a video of this. We had a 3D rendering there. When you start at Melly Fitness, I would love to make that a sky zone. And then when you come a little further down, all the land along Greenwood, we want to do a skate park, a water park, a dog park, and then also a food truck pad. Y'all know, again, restaurants is just my thing. And then a pavilion so everybody can sit and have activities with their family or birthday parties, things of that nature. That is the plan going forward for the village of Dalton. So everybody talking, I'm working. So all I do is zone out the noise and make sure I do the will of the people. Everything else is a distraction. And anybody that's an entrepreneur, they know better. You know that you gotta stay the course and keep pushing. When you hear no's, you keep moving till you find that yes. A lot of great people throughout the world have been told no several times until they find that yes. Now they millionaires, billionaires. It's the same concept here at the Village of Dalton. And I've given my life to make sure I can rebuild this town. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I am a single mom. So when you guys be attacking me, I be like, think about what you're doing. You too have kids. You too are parents. You won't want anyone to attack you that way. I've had people run up on us. I've had people stalk us. I had death threats. I had all of the above. And people get mad about my security. We are in need of security. There's currently now employees getting threatened. And we have all this on tape, on record. I don't know if Chief got no tape with it, but people told us about the tape part. But he do have things going on that is really serious here in Dawson. And everybody ignoring it, but I don't like the fact that it's initiated by my board of trustees, majority of it. And it's sad because I would never attack any of them. Because at the end of the day, we are Christian people. At the end of the day, we are benchmarks. I tell people this all day long. You only here for the season until your time has come and gone and someone else takes that seat. So remember, don't get wrapped around titles because it comes and goes just like the season. All right, I end my report. Citizens address.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Thelma Ann, and Mayor, I'm just coming to you for. I know you're talking about the block by block program. That's a big program, but as a citizen and a homeowner, it's some things that we need to check off the list, like helping the residents, the water bills. They telling me I gotta read my own meter and I pay taxes. I just don't think that's right. You know, and I don't think anybody, I know you got your crew in the back, they clapping. You know, I don't even know if they a house, you know, it's certain things that you want. Do I want felons to come? I got neighbors that are saying, I don't want nobody from the village in my house. And when you own a home, you don't want them. We can't get top grade employees to the village. Can't we pick people that don't have a record? You know, to be in the village. But the people that I live around, they're afraid. And if I had known that this village was going to end up like it is now, I would never bought in Dalton. Never. And I think the majority of these people that's here that's got homes, has been here 30 years. See, I'm not looking for a job. So you don't have to give me no job. I just want my services. And I feel that that's not being transparent if these guys can't vote on a budget and they don't know what they vote on. They don't know how much money is out. That just doesn't make sense. And what I'm just trying to say to you, I go into the water department, the people don't even want to help me. They scared. They scared of the trustee, they scared of me too. I said, can I get a printout of my past bills and what my water meter was? Oh, I can't do that. I can't print anything. It's just not the same anymore. We need a forensic audit because, like you say, you haven't did anything. If we get that forensic audit, it's gonna show that you didn't do nothing. You should want to clear your name up. You should want that on you. Get a forensic audit to prove that what's being done is correct, and that's all I have to say. I just want the residents to be able to be helped in this village. And I'm passionate about it. I hate that I have my house here. I have spent too much money to live like this. And all of you guys on here, would you want to live around something like that, Chief? Would you want to live around with you not knowing that a felon is coming up in your house? You're the police. You're the top cop. You're the top cop. So that's all I have to say. And please, man, check out the little stuff. And then we can get to the block by block. Let's do the little stuff first. Check off everything Riley you said you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Check it off. So thank you so much, everyone.
All right, Kevin, before you start, I just make a statement that no felon goes in anyone's house that works for the Village of Dalton. So I just want to clear that up, so if anybody putting that out there, misleading people, no one goes in anyone's property that has a background. So whoever's putting it out there, please stop. I don't want my residents to be scared or think we're doing something that we're not doing. We're not allowed.
We do have felons in the village just working.
It's felons, everyone's felons in everyone's home.
We do.
Just about.
And there's nothing wrong with it. They gotta be put in certain places.
So basically, everybody has issues, so you have to be able to help them. I do truly believe in second chances in the Village of Dalton. So I just want people to know that. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Kevin Barnes, resident at 14338 Dante Avenue. I'm gonna take this down. I only got 3 minutes, so let me just. So, I want to get back to the block by block because that's what's important to me right now. Because I have a 20-year-old daughter that just had a baby, and I was looking forward to this program. I do recall that the block program was already on committee. At least I thought it was from previous meetings when it went to committee because they voted to take it to committee. I speak a little different because I was a part of that dream team, so I got the inside. Every time she said take it and add to it, everything that you guys were saying, that's correct. It don't have meat to it because you haven't put the meat to it yet. But all we doing is trying to get the skeleton voted on. The skeleton to get it started. You can't put meat to something if you don't start the process. No business, no anything didn't start with first an idea. Then you gotta have a draft. That's all that was. That was the draft. When you draft the draft and get that into play, then you can start building what you want to see out of it. I'm really disappointed that you all didn't vote for the block by block, but then you talking about bringing somebody else from the outside in. Why? If all these real estate people up here that got all this real estate knowledge, we got a realtor right here. Y'all can do this yourselves. We don't need somebody else to do what y'all can already do. That's what we had the last time. All this outside noise, all these outside people, when we supposed to keep stuff in-house. All 5 of y'all, 6 of y'all, when Kiana is present, all 6 of y'all, including the mayor, y'all gotta get together, put y'all heads together like Andrew said, and come up with something. Let's stop advocating for other people to do the job that y'all was elected to do. We don't need nobody else to come from the outside, because y'all can do, y'all intelligent enough to put a program together. Because if you're not, then we're in some serious trouble.
Right now.
Let's make this happen. I don't know what got to happen, how it got to happen, but y'all need to make this happen. We don't need any outside influences. Because my faith and belief is in the people that we elected. And I believe in this board, I believe in this mayor. The recall, y'all need to reconsider. Meet her at 4 years when her term is up, because that's what we did with Riley. We didn't recall him, we didn't, all the stuff, again, he made some mistakes, y'all, and y'all know it. And y'all sat there and went along with it. Again, it's unconventional how she operating, how she moving, because guess what? In a male-dominated society, she the only female, so it's always gonna look different.
3 minute mark.
President Cheryl Hill, reading in the name of the Father and the Son, to all the heads of the department, to all the new people. I was hesitant to take my mask off. You know about it. And to all the new entities and new components here in the village of Dalton, here's what I'm gonna start with. I got love for all beings. See, that's our biggest coming out. Every last one of us in this room, that's our biggest coming out. We are human beings. Then we do trickle down to titles, positions, but dissension, and when you utilize the word transparency, transparency works when you work it. Accountability works when you work it. Victory never has accomplished anything. Communication. There is that thing to agree, to disagree. But the servant that you all are representing the most are these residents. Every word out of your mouth is supposed to reflect the people and everything for the people. I don't know what I'm really supposed to say, because there are times when people pick a position to decide to do something that's not conducive to the people. That's called your personal hang-up, and that word feeling has worked my human nerve right here tonight. Because you can feel about a lot of things, but when you are elected, I'm a human rights activist. You know what I love about that the most? It don't tie my hands to do exactly what an elected official is supposed to do. I can represent everybody in this building. I can mediate for everybody in this building. You all, however, you are our delegates. Some of you all are given certain jobs because you know one person can't do the job.
1 minute remaining.
The mayor is doing just like anyone before her. She is doing her best. And we all know that you get a little overlay from someone else. All I'm asking for the community adult. Block by block, block clubs. Thank you, Stacy, for the trees that are gone, for the lights that are getting better, for some of the infrastructure. And I've been here so long that I'm telling you, I'm a piggyback off of Tiffany on the 14th. That's where I used to go to the shop. Used to take my kids right across the street to the arcade. So you can look around through the community. There's still things here for y'all to put that meat back on that he was talking about. Utilize what we got here first. And think that ain't gonna save a lot of money. And then there are a lot of people. They shouldn't have to worry about no squatters or anything sitting next to them. But for God's sake, get y'all at least for once in this leadership. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt and call it united front. Because really, I'm appreciating her. I'm appreciating the chief. I'm appreciating Steph. And if ain't none of y'all got no flaws, kick me when I go out the door.
Right. Well said.
Pastor William Fleshman, 2 addresses if you want me to give them both. But the same seats that you all sit in right now was the same seat that Mayor Riley started in and worked his way up to. It's the same seat that he sat in and he had a stroke. There's a lot of sickness and disease in this room right now.
Yeah.
Y'all can't even see yourself, but y'all faces are twisted up like you already had a stroke. I mean it. It's so much hatred. You can feel the hatred in this room, and the hatred is not just from this board and this mayor. The hatred is from some of these residents sitting in this room. And it's a sickness. And we need to rid ourselves of this sickness and this disease. I can personally say that I have met with every one of you all. I don't get paid. I don't get a dime from this village. My reputation has been ridiculed. I was just talking with Ms. Copeland the other day. The sister said she don't even like me no more.
I did not.
No. She said she had a problem with me. She had a problem with me, and the reason why is because I'm trying to work out things with y'all. I don't think any one of you all could say that I don't stand on no fence. I'm not with this person or with that person. I done tried to work with each one of you all to try and bring some resolution to this doggone board. And if y'all don't find in yourselves to bring some resolution to this board, shame on you, and every one of y'all need to be recalled. I'm sick of it. I almost couldn't stay in this meeting because there's so much sickness and disease in here. It was almost like it was coming all down on my body. And I'm praying for you, Sister Clerk.
1 minute remaining.
I'm praying for you, Sister Clerk, because it really seems like this is getting to you. But I want to challenge each one of you board members and the mayor, get it together. The only reason why there's alts here is because you all get caught in your feelings. You all have such a great spirit of offense. It's like you babies, like you crying and worrying about what you can and what you can't do. Forget all of that. Come together as a board, as the mayor, with the mayor, and mayor got problems too. I'm not saying she ain't got no problems. I'm not just pointing fingers at the board. I'm pointing fingers at every seat up there. Every seat. And y'all need to get it together. You want to talk to me? My doors are open. We can go in that board and we can have it out with no problem. Because I'm tired of seeing what's going on in our community. You know what's happening in our community? You know who the richest folks are in our community? These doggone attorneys that's keeping y'all fighting. The ones that collecting all the money and going back to their community, wherever they live, and they don't look like us.
We have order, please.
Your own feelings.
Officers.
I never said I don't.
You said it because of
Can we have order, please?
It's because of y'all. It's because of the division that you all are creating. You all are creating this division. All of y'all.
No, you can't mention it.
Somebody check the way.
Nobody got to defend me. I know what I said. I just was showing them that's what they do. Every time
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianna Matthews. I am a new homeowner in Dalton. So I am really, really happy to just be a part of this political engagement. I think it's amazing. I think that's one of the reasons why I moved to Dalton, because it feels like home, and I see a lot of potential. And I love how each one of you all talk about how you want to speak for the residents. The only thing that I would like to encourage you all to do, that I would love to see as a resident, is for you to actually do some research on public opinion. So residents can actually have a voice that we can be transparent about. I know it's different crews in the building, right? But I want to put some numbers to those crews. I say that for a couple of reasons, right? One, because you all value residents' opinions. And then two, there's clearly some distrust amongst the board, right? So if there's distrust over here, bring it back to the people. See what we actually want. See what the numbers say. So in regards to a few things like the block by block program, let's see how many residents actually want to move forward with the program and see, and we can build meat to it too, right? You all have your expertise, but we have some expertise in the building, and we know what we want to see as well. So can you all vet residents' opinions in an effective, strategic, real way? Not just, hey, I talked to this person, I talked to that person. No, put some numbers to it, put some data to it, so we can all see what we all want. This is not just the administration's village. We all live here. When you, like Mayor, like you said, one day your seat is going to be gone, but we're still going to be here. So I would love if we can get our voices heard and decisions, not only with the block by block, but as well as the recall. I have spoke to a couple of trustees, and I told you all I would have loved to give my opinion on paper to say what I wanted to spend my tax dollars on. I was at the tea with the trustees, y'all, a couple months ago, and I was talking big stuff, like, hey, my tax is not that expensive, and people were telling me, no, Dalton tax is expensive. Y'all, they are expensive. I just learned that, right? So I would love to, since I'm paying some big dollars with my taxes, I would love for my voice to be heard in an effective, strategic way. And I think that we can do that, and I think that that will settle a lot of things that actually provide community. So with the decisions being made, if we can have an effective way to really research public opinion, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm for block of block, because I think we can do something really big with that. Thank you.
Good evening. Trustees, my name is Deon Taylor, and this is coming up here is kind of out of my comfort zone. Kind of try to, stay low key and watch what's going on. Help how I can help. And today I was compelled to come, just share a few things. I don't want to really bash anybody, point to anybody. I've been out here in Dalton for some time before Tiffany became mayor. That's my cousin. I do part-time code enforcement here for the village of Dalton. I'm out here in the evening. One of the things that I wanted to share was that, like, how that even came about. Tiffany won, and she was out trying to help the residents. And like, late in the summer, we was out going to different residents' houses, and every conversation and every complaint was about the different things in the community that people wanted to see, get addressed. And part of that was via code enforcement. So, the conversations had came up. I came out here to help. I was out here when Jason House, when he ran for me. I came out here anywhere my people are, I wanted to be to help community. I live in Roseland, okay? I came out, hey, it's a movement happening. I want to be a part of anything positive. And so, I mean, just being with Tiffany and looking at how she responded and her heart and everything, she asked, hey, look, could I get you to come and help, some of the people in the code enforcement? You have Brian, who's our immediate supervisor, Mario, Kim, some good people know the ropes of this stuff. They do the inspection. I just deal with, the ordinance violations and stuff like that.
1 minute remaining.
And complaints. And so, I just came out here to help. And I followed Tiffany because she had a heart for the people. I used to mentor at Lincoln Elementary, help, with the families and stuff, have great stories I can share outside of this minute that I have left. But even with that, there were some things that had taken place, and I just echo what the pastor said before me, that with the maliciousness that had taken place, I haven't done anything wrong to anybody in this building. And there are some people here that have done some things, put stuff on social media. I'm not even on social media. Put my address out, name and address, and put pictures, like I hadn't done anything to anybody. And it's like just so wicked. And I told him, I said, man, I could let this go. I could let this go because I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be, used against you.
We've reached the 3 minute mark.
Okay. Used against you. And so I just say that I agree with most of the people that came before, people need to work together and, all this other stuff. Stop it.
Sir, we reached the 3 minute mark.
Yes, sir. But that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
All right.
first time coming to this meeting. And as I stood back there and listened, I was ashamed to be a resident of y'all. I was ashamed that we have a panel of trustees in there of color and they can't get along. Mayor, I appreciate the work that you're doing. I've noticed the work that you're doing in the community. I believe in second chance.
All right.
Everybody do not do everything right. It's okay to give a second chance. And I know everybody don't agree with me. It's okay. You know, I feel that we all should work together. I don't need a job. Somebody else said that. I don't need a job either. You know, but I believe in helping. I believe in us coming together. I believe you all should just take a step back and realize and think about what you all are doing. You all are, I stood back there, you all are going in circles and going off of one word of what someone said. It's ridiculous. We need to get it together. I want to be proud to live in Dalton. And at this moment, it's no proudness to it. And if we can just work together and stop worrying about, well, she not doing what I want to do, he not doing what I, let's just work together. Let's become one. And that's all I have to say. And I want to be proud to live in Dalton.
My name is Cortez Bernard. I'm a recent resident of Dalton. I just moved here this past year. This is my first time attending this board meeting. That's all I have to say is wow. Amazing. Wow. Really, like, I can get on each and every one of you. You know, you're a saint. You're for the people. I like your aggression. Keep doing what you're doing. Work with the mayor. Numbers don't lie. It took you 12 days to respond to a FOIA request. You're doing a good. You got some great ideas. You're just an attorney. Your face been twisted ever since this meeting started. You don't know what side you want to be on. It's just nothing but dislike. Block by block, great idea. I'm ready to buy in. So I would pay and do whatever it takes to get each and every last one of y'all off the board that's not for this community. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. All right.
We need younger police staff. My 2-year-old daughter could have caught the criminal. Too much leniency in the business that's around in Dalton. Litter everywhere. I have pictures, drug bags all in my yard, soliciting, laundering all out in front of the liquor stores. You guys find the residents, why not find the business? So it's just a lot. So this is not the last time you guys want to see me. There's so much. I should have brought a pen and paper so I can have it all written down, but I will attend the next one, and man, I will pay whatever it takes.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor, trustees, good evening, residents. Well, my comment is pretty much the same. It is a shame to see this. I've been here as a resident for 3 administrations. I've been here as a resident for 3 administrations. This has been the same thing, every administration. There really should be a handbook right about now on rules and regulations on how to run this village. Because we've been doing this same thing for over 8 years. It is so sad. And I do want to say, I don't want to see the mayor leave. I don't want to see none of the trustees or the clerk leave, because there has to be a standstill at some point where we have to get this together. We can't keep tearing each other down. It cannot keep happening. There's also, before we start getting all these expensive attorneys, I know everybody gotta know, in Markham Courthouse, there's a free law library. Why are we always using the people's money to come here and y'all taking it out of our pocket? Today was such, even though the agenda mentioned that this is what y'all were gonna talk about, this should have been about us and about what's gonna transpire for us. And it's so unfair. But this has to stop, because if none of you can't get along, I don't think any of you should be there. Not the trustees nor the mayor. We cannot continue to run a village like this. This has to stop. I'm tired. I'm very tired. And I'm just hoping that y'all are listening to these people. And then what the young lady was stating with the new house, why not send opinions out to the public to get their word on how things should be ran? It's our money, why not? It's not too expensive for y'all to do everything else, so why not send surveys out? Have a great day.
Good morning. Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. For those that don't know who I am, I'm the owner of 300 West 7th. For those that don't know what's there, it's the dome-shaped building. It used to be the Premier. For the previous 12 years, prior to the Mayor Henry's election, administrations have cost you $1,000 a day.
Excuse me, Mr. Michael, can you speak in the mic so we can hear you in the back? You can grab it.
Previous administrations have cost the residents of this village $1,000 a day, every day. That's what the cost of that building sitting is. It's cost me the same way, $1,000 every day for 12 hours. A lawsuit was initiated in 2014, it was settled in December of 2016. It required the village to do certain things that were in compliance with the settlement covenants. For 5 years, the village continued to work through your money. Thankfully, Mayor Henyard was elected. Mayor Henyard has taken the lead to conceptualize converting that building into a restaurant room, to bring a beautiful set of restaurants into the community to service everyone's needs. I'm going to open an old-fashioned donuts. For those of you that are familiar with old-fashioned donuts in Roseland, I purchased the rights to expand it. I own it. I opened a location on the west side. I'm going to open one over here. It's going to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner 24 hours a day. Mayor Henyard's conceptualization, support, energy is going to make that happen, assuming the support of the board. So I would just simply like to say thank you to the mayor, thank you to the board in advance.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you to everyone. And please support the development.
Speaking in the mic.
Allison, Jason, my dance partner. And yeah, we were the family there. We were the team. Dreamed on a dream. What happened? Now, you guys are going after her to recall a seat, just like Trump. It didn't work. But my if you do pull it, remember one thing. Not only is he going to open up this town, that's 50 states that can recall votes. And you know what? A lot of people will be unhappy. So think about what you're doing. Okay, because if you can recall states in Illinois, in this town, that means it's going across 50 states. You're going to be popular, not the way you want to be. So you better think about it.
evening, good evening. My name is Georgia Williams. I'm quite sure everybody knows me. But I have a question concerning public work. In the 152nd block of Grant, we need attention to 2 trees in there. I'm tired of cutting up those big limbs. So if you can come by 152nd and Grant. And my next concern is to the mayor. I have to say this. You've been knowing me a long time, but I have to say this. Now, I know the pandemic is still going on, but just about everything to open up. Now, what I can't see is there's just a few chairs in here. Why can't we have this open for the residents to come in? We all taxpayer, and we just only got a few residents. We got a lot of residents out there that wants to come in, that can't come in. So if the restaurant is open up and everything else, why can't the building hall be open up to the residents? That's on my mind. So if you could just think about it, give everybody a chance to want to come in. Because some of them want to come in tonight. That's all I have to say.
Good evening, I'm Kim Austin, for you guys that know me. Hello trustees, hello mayor. I'm glad to be here, I'm glad to be back. Because I was one of those employees that got done wrong on the last administration. And nobody spoke up for me. As good a job as everybody claimed I did and was doing, nobody spoke up for me. I got terminated for no reason. Then I get brought back, come back working. I gave up my career to come back to work here for $15 an hour. I paid somebody to sit with my mama $75 a day to come here. So I come here as a passion for the people to see things change and to make things better. What do I get? Plastered on Facebook. I didn't do anybody wrong. I didn't talk down to nobody, didn't talk about nobody. As a matter of fact, when I was terminated, I thank you guys for the opportunity because I walked away with a multi-million-dollar network. So I wasn't angry about getting terminated, but to come back and to do a great job and then to be smeared. You know, I was brought to an inspection that I didn't do, being a trustee, and activists show up, and they trying to say, well, you had to know the people because you passed the inspection when I didn't even do the inspection. So, I mean, I'm walking on eggshells working here. And I come in and try to do my job and do the best at it. I service anybody, help anybody, do what I can, go above and beyond, and then I have to come work and worry about what they're gonna come with today, or who's watching, or who's taking pictures, or who's in my business. You know, even people that I go to church with, get on news and tell the people, oh yeah, there was another girl that was fired and she bought back. Yeah, she bought me back, Stubbs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, okay. Because I didn't have nothing to do with that. And if you had a problem, you should have addressed me.
I didn't want to
Order, please.
Order, don't call me
back to the
now.
trustee
1 minute remaining.
and the mayor. I just want to thank you guys, and I'm going to keep you guys lifting in prayer because united we stand, divided we fall. You know, we have an opportunity to be a part of making history. I am grateful to know somebody that's making history. You know, why can't we just all get along? I mean, give a lady a chance to mess up. Yeah. Y'all got her with 24-hour security. Ain't no messing up now. So let's just get along, man. Let's make Dalton a great place to live. You know, please. You know, for the sake of our future generations, like, you know, you got daughters at home that can see that they can be a mayor. Yeah. A daughter at home that can be a supervisor. I mean, come on now, y'all. Let's come together on this. For real, let's come together on this. And like I said, once again, I'm gonna keep you guys lifted.
Everyone. I really wasn't going to come up here, but I had to. Just want to say that I've listened, you guys know me, I've been out here about 23 years. I want to attest to a couple of things. The block by block, as it stands, is not a bad idea. I think what I heard tonight was, give us a plan. I also heard you guys sit down and do. I bought an opportunity, and I do work for NHS. It's a free opportunity for what Ms. Brown was talking about, for an organization to come out and sit with you guys and talk about what this vision is, documented for you at no cost. Didn't happen. I contacted the administrator twice. I came up here, nothing happened. Dead in the water. There may be an opportunity for them to come back. I don't know if I want to make a call, but I don't like wasting people's time, because my time is valuable. The other point is, I heard people say that the trustees are doing things without asking for. They've talked to me. They've talked to a lot of people. We are all not going to agree, but I agree with something that has been said. You got to get this together. One last thing for the residents. There's an event Saturday. You're behind on your mortgage, property taxes, insurance, condo association, homeowner association. At the Park District, we're taking applications 10 to 2.
Security.
My name is Garrett Gezzi. I'm a lifetime resident of Dalton. There's a lot of history that goes down in this town. A lot of people don't know about it. We can do a little bit of a time check here. Let's go back to May 20th, 2013. Our mayor then, Trustee Hindered. This is a quote. She stated, "Trustees are asked to make decisions without looking at a budget or including people being hired." Now, this is something that's going against the trustees right now. The trustees want transparency on this. But this is what was stated back in May 20th, 2013. We can also go back in time. Let's go to July 7th, 2014. Beautiful Village Hall, MB, gave us this hall. But on July 7th, 2014, then Trustee Hindered voted no to accept this building, along with 2 other trustees. There was a problem as far as who was going to pay for it. MB was giving us this building free. MB also would pay $10,000 to update all the tech services, and then Stan Urban, our town administrator, and Napoleon Harris, our state senator, were going to pay for any additional expenses that went to taking this building over. We could not stay in the other village hall because it was not handicap accessible. So this is one of the reasons why we're in this building now today. Because there was 3 other trustees that voted for it, 3 trustees voted against it, and the mayor at that time, Riley Rogers, broke the tie. So that's why you're in this building today. Then we can go on. One other issue I have. We all talk about transparency in this town.
1 minute remaining.
Transparency, one thing. I had a water bill in January. For 26,000 gallons of water I used between October and December. I tried talking to then William Moore 5 separate times, could not reach him. Went through his spokesperson, Pat, could not reach him. Then I went in on 3/29/22, paid my bill, actually paid the bill. Then I said, can I speak to Juanita Thompson? The clerk who took it, she said, I don't know who Juanita Thompson is. I said, this happens to be your boss. You had people working in a water department that didn't even know who was in charge. And I said, this is where transparency, it's more like invisibility. This does not exist. You cannot reach these people. And like I said, between Anita and William, It was 8 times, and still, this is from January, and still to this day, I have not been able to talk to these people.
And we've reached the 3-minute mark.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gizzi.
Good evening, everyone.
You gotta pick it up and hold it.
Pick the mic. Yes, sir. Hey, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand in front of everyone in this meeting at 9:30 in the evening. But I'd just like to say to the board, call respect to each and every one of you, because I know it's like to sit up there on the hot seat, be asked certain things, and certain things that comes at you. But just so happened, I happen to be a worker for the Dream Team. Sister Jason House, Kiana Belcher, Allison Key, Tiffany Henry. Worked very hard for you ladies and gentlemen to get here. And this was not the dream that we were talking about. And I actually worked for free. I got paid nothing. The campaign office, Jason, Kiana, Allison, Tiffany Henry. I made that happen. I got you guys in the campaign office. I helped furnish the place. I brought workers there to work for you. I got paid nothing for that. Now I'm here, we're in the village hall, and something that hasn't been in fruition of the Fire and Police Commission Board. It has been going on for 3-4 years. Chief Pete? Yes, sir. And just so happened, I put my hand up to volunteer to work for you guys again. Yes, sir. But the board, you tell me you don't want me. You don't want me to be on the Fire and Police Commission Board. That's a non-paid salary position. I'm a 32-year resident in the village of Dalton. Former trustee, I sit on the school board 205. That's another position that you don't get paid for. But I'm being turned down to help a village that I live in, to help get us some more young, efficient, effective police officers and firemen. We have police officers working 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Because I know if I go home from here and my back door is busted wide open,
1 minute remaining.
I'm not going in there. I'm calling police. So now we can't hire police officers because the present board don't want the Fire and Police Commission Board that's been put together. That's unfair to me as a resident for 32 years. And the other members on the board are residents. That's unfair to us. We just want to work, we just want to help, and we want to work for you free. I asked board, why not let me work for you again? Just take that into consideration, because it's unfair that you got residents that want to work for you free. And if you mention Mayor Henry's name, you're an enemy. I'm not an enemy to her, I'm not an enemy to you guys. I'm all your friends. But it's been unfair to me that you telling me I can't work for free.
I brought this mask because I might need it, and I need some dental work done. Nobody want to listen to my mouth like that. But that was my wife, and we just moved here. And he made me speak because my bill, I was paying my bill every month. And we just moved here last year in February. And my taxes, I don't know how people, everybody say your taxes how they, when you pay for your place and you sign all the papers, they say your taxes is gonna be one thing, and when you get here, they change your taxes. And then my water bill, they did the same thing. I paid my water bill every month on time, and then in January, they did that same thing to me. And I came right here and I talked to the lady named Pat. She did me like that too. But I kept calling her, and I came back till I got, it still went up. They still shot me again. And then the same thing, they ordered me to read the meter thing. You know, I'm like, what is he reading it from? Because when he talked about it, he must have a special device. Because when I went to read it, anyway, we found out how to go on my wall, and I read it, and my bill still high. So, but thanks for paying me my street. I went for 14800. I had the worst thing in the world. They paid me. my light, they got a light across the street. I ain't never seen nobody in the city post a light up. But they got it up there, and it's up there, and it's lit. I really like what you're doing. And I don't know what the previous mayor did, but I can tell you what I heard from you all. I got that this what's this block on block thing, and everything else y'all been talking about. It sounds like, but he said it's been going on for 8 years, so it don't matter who the mayor is, because he said Tiffany didn't agree and vote for the same for this place. But now she was doing the same thing as a trustee.
1 minute remaining.
That y'all doing to her. Man, y'all remind me of the Will Smith slap. And then the argument did that. Everybody was so upset with the slap. I was more upset that he did that, you know, my mother's wife and my mother. But when you do that, I just felt it. See, him and the other 3 or 4 white people in here, because y'all do it too. Yeah. Don't tell that lie. You go home, we go. I just cussed, but we do the same thing over and over. So, when we gonna land? And I look at you like this guy back here. He works with y'all, and he knows that y'all. He's not gonna be a part of it. He worked with you all. You, like that pastor said, you see the people that have said, thank you, because you one of the same people that I don't see, this was the most biggest waste of time I told my wife, I want to see the 5:30.
Thank you, sir. We've reached the time.
All right, I'm finna go. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I could have stayed at home. I've never seen no mess like this. Y'all wasting y'all a lot of time. I don't see how y'all do it. I don't see how y'all sit there and waste y'all time like that. Y'all really some good people. So we gonna run this. Come on, boys. Let's go. God bless y'all. Oh, and I need a job. I need a second job. And I'm here so everybody see my face. Don't forget me. I need a job. Bad. 148, 32 steps. Let's go. So 148, I do anything. Anything y'all ask me. Let's go.
You can hold the My name is Desmond Shuford. This is my hometown, Dalton. I remember I actually got my first job here in the township. I was cutting grass for Frank, and we were all over the township doing that. We had a team of 3, and the teamwork was really important to get stuff done. We would cut yards in 30 minutes flat. You know what I'm saying? 3 of us, and move to the next, like clockwork. It was pretty cool. I'm here today because I was actually going to check on my auto shop over in Riverdale. A couple people were dumping on my lot one time, and so I was just checking on it. Since it's not operational yet, due to me finding the funding and stuff. But anyway, as I was driving by, I saw something going on here, so let me stop by. So if you guys are wondering why I'm here. And I'm pretty excited to see the togetherness here. Although we are in a tough time, to be honest. Y'all know this. I even noticed it because over in Indiana, I own about 20 properties, right? I'm only 28. To be honest, I don't want any of those properties. Due to the headache it comes with and managing it. You're doing it solo, and it gets tough. Nobody wants to work, even for me. I'll be honest, I can't find no workers at all. Everybody look at me like, you're 28, we don't want to work for you, because probably think I'm a smart head, whatever. That's not the case. I'm really just trying to move things forward, if that makes sense. One other thought, what would be cool to see here in Dalton, it would be nice to see recycling. I think that's a big thing. That would be pretty cool. I don't know how the ports work over here with the trains, but maybe we can ship that out and make a couple
1 minute
of
remaining.
already. But I'm gonna keep it short. That's all I gotta say. And hey, keep going.
See.
There's been a lot of division for the past decade. Yesterday on the board, we had division with the current mayor and the board. It's disgusting. I was at home watching, it's just absolutely disgusting to see what's been going on in this meeting. I've asked that it be peace, that it be some kind of accord, but it's the same thing. We had the same attorney, now representing the board that was sitting there silent, representing Riley Rogers. Your current attorney sitting there in silence, representing you. This has got to stop. It's not helpful for the residents. I've never seen anything on the agenda for residents. Block by block, these debilitated, blighted houses need to be demolished. Before we start selling anything, it needs to be safe for our children to walk down the street and not get pulled into an abandoned building. It'll be nice to go outside and not have filth and dirt blowing in your face. If the lead from the windowsill will affect children and their development, what does abandoned buildings do? Blowing in the community. But everybody thinks it's okay to be, angry and to laugh and funny. But has anybody looked at their property tax overview to see how much debt the village of Dalton has us in with lawsuits and bonds that's being paid instead of bills not being paid, like the water is a bond issue? So what are we gonna do about that? I don't care nothing about fighting. I've seen that my whole life. But while the fighting is going on, it's a big diversion as to where that money's going. Where's the money going? That's what I want to know. I don't care about no rumors. I heard you got a Tesla charging station. I ain't seen it. I came looking for it yet. I ain't looking for it. It's a lot of things I'm hearing. We shouldn't have people with a background so egregious walking around with a badge like they the police. It's confusing to me as an adult, let alone children. This type of debauchery shouldn't be going on at all. I'm not going to argue with nobody. No more, I'm not going to ask you where your FOIA is at. If it should be another FOIA officer, what I will do is call John Losh and Kwame Raoul and let them do their job. Because I'm tired, and we're going to know who's stealing and who's doing what and what's mismanaged. And Ms. Brittany, can you please get your phone number listed on the village website? Yeah, because we pay for that phone. Absolutely. I don't know.
And we've reached the 3-minute mark.
That's why I'm here. I've asked you guys to share your parts, your story, because I'm not a one-sided person either. I know all of you guys, some of you I've known for years. And I feel that one of the ways to come together and to give an account is to start posting some stuff. That way people can come in and see where money's going. This has been paid, that has been paid, because it takes out the he said, she said, and we got it, and she paid this, and we didn't pay that, and they didn't want to pay it, and because it's confusing. I don't know who to believe, because I want to believe everybody. But the point is, somebody's lying. I don't know who. So, we don't know who. So, one of the ways, start posting something. Get something that can show what bills paid. The trustees voted on this. If that's what it takes. It's like writing it down and letting everybody see it. Or some type of way, well, still that way, for people to be able to have access to what's been paid, who paid it, when it was paid. It's so simple. It's just accountability. Just let it be open. This needs to be paid, because some churches have done it. I go in a church, big old board.
We got this expense, that expense, this has been paid, that's been paid. It's just that simple. That way, money questions won't be asked, sort of thing. Just get it out there, post it some type of way. And that way, we'll know where the money's going. Because at the root of all of this, it is money. What are we gonna do? Everybody's gotta get paid that's supposed to be paid. And thank you guys for everybody for bringing monies in from others, but again, it's gotta be spent wisely. And everybody has said, from the mayor to the board, we need to work together, come together. We tried this, we tried that. You did this, you did. So again, one of the ways is to just get some type of board.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you. And what needs to be paid? And the final thing is, I came and I asked about, I sent pictures out, as you had said, to, show the sidewalks. And so that was back in December. And I called and I asked, and they directed me to somebody who said, well, it's not, it's just a notion, so to say, but we don't have it up and running yet. I said, okay, so I waited, and then I came in, and I asked, and I was directed someone over there who said, call Public Works to find out where your pictures went. I said outside, call Public Works, they said, you gotta go to Village Dog. Okay, I get out the car, come back in here. And then they directed me to speak to someone in the office who told me, go speak to the mayor. So nobody knows where my pictures went for my sidewalk. So I just want to bring that to your attention so you can let them know, let the residents know when you send your pictures out, let them know where it's going. Because I need to know if they received it, because I want to be on the list to get the sidewalks fixed.
And we've reached the 3 minute mark.
Thank you. So I love you guys, y'all know that, but just get it out there to the public. That way nobody can blame you for doing anything.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, trustees and residents. I'm not going to be long. I've only got about a few points. Number one, I was appalled, and I take offense after 23 years in this village, coming to meetings, being on committees, to have somebody warn me. I'm a Chicago police detective, retired. Been in security for 46 years. If I have to come in this place, if it's dangerous enough that I come in here, what the hell is going on up in here that we gotta be warned? What was expected? Everybody should have had a problem with it. Because if you had to check me, what did you think was up in here? Am I safe coming up in here? I run a security business. My rule is we don't police people, we secure people. I want you to feel secure. I don't want you to feel police. Couldn't park my car because of police cars. Can't get through the door because of police officers. I'm not at the jail. This is unacceptable. The young lady over here said something about coming up in the village. We've been out of this village almost a year now. But we've had parties, we've had dinners, we've had East Egg hunts, we've had everything. COVID wasn't concerning then. That's right. COVID wasn't concerning the other night when we were in here. We sitting up in here now. Ain't nobody 6 feet apart but maybe you and me. So are we really concerned about COVID, or are we serving our own agenda? I supported Tiffany. I got on the air for Tiffany, but I said to Tiffany, you gotta watch your mouth. You can't say everything you think. Surround yourself with the right people. There are rules for a reason. What I heard up here tonight is the rules aren't being followed. Why do we have ordinances? If you can put your own twist on it and do what you want, then the hell with the ordinances. Just do what you want. Everybody clap. Everybody all happy.
1 minute remaining.
Because you breaking the rules, and that goes for anybody up there that does it. Anybody. That goes for you, not answering people's phone calls. You get a paycheck out of this building. And to sit there like this all night, you act like you don't even want to be here. I'm done.
All right, that ends public comment. We're gonna go into closed session now. If you guys want to stay to see what happened afterwards, you're welcome to. Other than that, we'll see you in another 20 minutes.